Chapter 309. Before Bei Yunj could settle the score with Vic, Chu Zhixing suddenly patted her shoulder from behind. Master Pei, what will you do for your birthday? The cake. Bei Yunj did not know what kind of birthday cake could be, so she said, if you want to eat it, I'll send you an address. Chu Zhixing's eyelid twitched. This person seemed to think that he was going to her birthday because he wanted to eat cake. I want to go too, Lu Yuanci said immediately. I should have invited the Lu family. Bei Yunj played with her iPad slowly. At this moment, Chu Zhixing looked at Bei Yunj and said, I heard that Qin Youjiao was invited to the Nearly 18 debutante ball. She rejected it and plans to celebrate her birthday in Yuncheng. Nearly 18 debutante ball? After Bei Yunj asked, Chu Zhixing explained to her. Is there anything special about this ball? Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. Lu Yuanci smirked. Yes, the male partner arranged for the ball in Nearly is either the young and handsome prince of our country or the young master of a prestigious family. This was also a large-scale social gathering in the top circle. I see. Bei Yunj was not interested and her eyes were lazy. It seems like she likes to celebrate birthdays. Everyone was speechless. Lu Yuanci could not take it anymore. She likes to celebrate birthdays? She's planning to suppress you. Do you know what you're doing, Master Pei? Bei Yunj glanced at him. Haven't you always liked Qin Youjiao? Now, he was the first to say that Qin Youjiao was bad. That's just admiration. It can't be compared to friendship. Lu Yuanci muttered, besides, this is the past. Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. She did not expect Lu Yuanci to end his career as a spare tire in this lifetime. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Bei Yunj was rushing to finish the project in her hands and only wanted to complete her first project as soon as possible. Suddenly, Lu Yuanci understood the meaning of, the emperor is not anxious, but the eunuch is. Jiao Jiao, I've discussed your birthday with your Aunt Cheng. We'll celebrate it with the Cheng family. Mrs. Qin said happily. Qin Youjiao smiled. I'll listen to Mom's arrangements. This time, it's really all thanks to the invitation to the Nearly ball. Otherwise, it's hard to say if Madame Cheng would have agreed. Mother Qin was curious. Jiao Jiao, how do you know the people over there? Why did they send you an invitation? A dark glint flashed across Qin Youjiao's eyes. She tilted her head and smiled. Mom, didn't many seniors come to my piano concert last time? It seems that many people overseas like my new piece too. So it's those seniors. Mother Qin nodded. To be honest, even Mother Qin was shocked when she saw an invitation to a ball of this level. That was why the Cheng family ignored Qin Youjiao's true identity and understood her current value. To be able to attend such a ball, it meant that she had connections in the top circle. If he wanted to climb up, how could he not have something like this? After so many years, didn't the Cheng family want to rise to the next level? Mom, don't worry. I'll work hard in the future. When you're old, I'll be filial to you, Qin Youjiao said seriously and firmly. She also understood Mrs. Qin's love and care for her. Good child, Mom only wants you to be good. Mrs. Qin smiled and caressed her head. The Qing family will be helping you this birthday. Don't worry, it won't be worse than that person. Besides, there will be a heavyweight attending your birthday party. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 310. Besides, the people in the industry were not stupid. Between Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao, would they know who not to choose? 2 days before Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao's birthday was on the same day, a piece of news suddenly appeared on the internet. In order to celebrate Qin Youjiao's birthday, the Cheng family booked the Platinum Gold Hotel for an entire day. This was a hotel with a standard room price of more than 10,000 yuan. The Cheng family had spent so much effort to book the Platinum Gold Hotel. It was probably close to 10 million yuan. 10 million yuan a day. The Cheng family's care for Qin Youjiao was indeed shocking. There were even more bragging online. F*CK, F*CK, F*CK Qin Youjiao is too much of a princess. Even if she's not a real princess, someone will make her one. Platinum Gold Hotel. Are you afraid that the Qin family will make a move first? Dog head. The person above is speaking up for the Qin family? Once their biological daughter is here, they don't want their adopted daughter either. Besides, the Cheng family's current momentum is better than the Qin family's. Those who say that the Cheng family's momentum is better than the Qin family probably don't know how many big projects the new President Qin has collaborated on outside. This time, the Maps of the Gods project is nothing to the Qin family. The real young lady is awesome, okay? Then let's take a good look at where the Qin family is preparing to celebrate the real young lady's birthday. The Platinum Gold Hotel has already booked the entire place. What else can the Qin family do? Book it a day in advance or a day later. Don't say, I feel like the Qin family really doesn't care that much about the real young lady. Seeing the many speculations and discussions online, Qin Yu's expression changed and he went straight to the whole corporation. What's the matter? The man did not even look up and continued to work on his documents. How about you book the Platinum Gold Hotel for me in 2 days? Qin Yu added, I'll double the price. Can't you tell the people below about this? Hearing this, Huashidu glanced at him slowly. Qin Yu's expression darkened. It's already been booked. Huashidu chuckled carelessly and leaned against the chair leisurely, his indifferent eyes light. But did your love rival book it? No, it's someone even more despicable. Qin Yu's dark tones seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. Gu and Qin Youjiao have the same birthday. In order to let Qin Youjiao suppress Gu, the Cheng family specially booked the Platinum Hotel. Birthday? Huashidu's eyebrows moved as he looked at him again. He didn't know that it would be the little girl's birthday in 2 days. Gunther didn't tell you? Qin Yu was stunned for a moment before he said with a smile, That's true. Maybe I'm not familiar with you. After saying this, Qin Yu did not feel the indescribable coldness in Huashidu's eyes as he looked at him. Help me, Master Du, no matter what, Qin Yu did not want Qin Youjiao to suppress Gu. There's no need. Before Qin Yu could react to what Huashidu meant, he heard him say slowly, I'll get Tsing Su to arrange the location. As for the people you want to invite, you can send them to Tsing Su later. I'll get him to send the invitation. Seeing that Huashidu was planning to arrange it personally, Qin Yu was relieved. Master Du, are you sure there's a place better than the Platinum Gold Hotel in your family? Qin Yu asked in the end. It's because that piece of land isn't worth much that it was used to build a hotel. The man was calm. Qin Yu was speechless. If he said this, something might happen. Time passed and it was the day of the birthday party. P.S. Be good and remember your monthly votes. Add more chapters every month. Chapter 311. Bei Yunj walked out of Huashidu's bedroom and seemed to have heard something in the living room. Assistant Sung? Bei Yunj furrowed her eyebrows and looked at Tsing Su in surprise. Why was he here? Miss Pei, I'm here to take you to the birthday party. With that said, Tsing Su could not help but laugh. Miss Pei, happy birthday. Bei Yunj's eyes moved and she remembered that it was her birthday today. Are you taking me to the birthday party? Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. I'm going back to the old mansion to celebrate my birthday. Miss Pei, Master Du has arranged other locations for you to celebrate your birthday. You can just change your clothes and come with me. At the same time, Qin Youjiao had already changed into her gown. In the suite of Platinum Gold Hotel, she was looking at her dress and choosing jewelry. My Jiao Jiao looks good all the time. The moment Mrs. Qin came over, she could not help praising her. Then, she turned to say to Mrs. Cheng, Mrs. Cheng, our Jiao Jiao has really troubled you these few days. What's there to trouble you about? I can't stand the Qin family bullying my future daughter-in-law either. Mrs. Cheng's words made Qin Youjiao blush. I'm the one who's not outstanding enough. That's why my brothers gave up on me. Qin Youjiao's eyes darkened. They're all stubborn. There's no need to speak up for your brothers. Mrs. Cheng walked forward with a smile and patted Qin Youjiao's hand. Jiao Jiao, you still have to rely on yourself to rise to the top. Bei Yunj doesn't have that fate, but you do. She continued, apart from Platinum Gold Hotel, I've also arranged for Mr. Du Shao to be a guest. Hearing this, Qin Youjiao looked up. Elder Du is here? Du Xiao was famous both domestically and overseas and was known as the last classical music master left in the world. However, Du Xiao had immigrated to our nation with his family when he was 7 and rarely returned to country A. Yes, although it's very difficult to invite Elder Du, but he has heard of your works and thinks that Jiao Jiao's works are very spiritual. Mrs. Chung smirked and looked at Qin Yo Jiao in front of her with satisfaction. She wanted to turn the tables for Qin Yo Jiao so that the Qin family would consider taking Qin Yo Jiao back. After all, Qin Yo Jiao was her daughter-in-law and needed the identity of the Qin family's eldest young Miss Moore. As for that useless real young lady, since she had come charging over, she should be prepared to pave the way for Qin Yo Jiao. Coldness and disdain flashed across Madame Cheng's eyes. When Qin Yo Jiao heard Du Xiao's name, her originally uneasy heart finally relaxed. Unexpectedly, it was actually Elder Du who came personally. Qin Yo Jiao could not suppress the excitement in her heart as she thought of Du Xiao taking in a disciple recently. If Du Xiao was willing to come over, could it be that he had the intention of taking her in? At this moment, there was a heated discussion online because the artiste who had offended Bei Yunj before was invited to Platinum Gold Hotel by Qin Yo Jiao. It was also because of her envy that Qin Yo Jiao's birthday party this time was extravagant. God, he spent tens of millions on his birthday? Why is there no movement from the Qin family? Xiao Fei, can't you find a better place than the Platinum Gold Hotel? It's probably a gathering at the old mansion. To put it nicely, it's to acknowledge the ancestors. The real young lady is way too different from Qin Yo Jiao. Within moments, Yu Man Ran, who had finally settled down recently, started to act up again. Yu Man Ran. Invitation, starry-eyed. Picture. The invitation in the picture was from the Qin family and the address of the banquet was even more shocking. Uther Residence. Chapter 312. Wait, everyone. Is this the address of Bei Yunj's birthday party? Is Uther Residence a hotel? Sorry to disturb you. The ignorant me only knows that this address is the best piece of land developed in the city center. Every inch of land is really expensive. Goodbye. Haha, the person above is too cute. Do you know why that piece of land is the best piece of land developed in the city center? Because it's backed by the Hua Corporation. Super loud. They didn't know much about the Uther residence, but they were aware of the status of the Hua Group. F***CK, then Uther residence is on the same level as Platinum Gold Royal Hotel, right? Stop fooling around. Do you know what Uther residence is? Even if you say it's a hotel, I think Uther residence is being scammed. After all, the maintenance fee of Uther residence for a year is about the annual income of an ordinary 5-star hotel. Dogs. Platinum Gold Royal Hotel is indeed impressive, but Uther Residence is a famous building from the last century. If it wasn't a private residence, countless people would visit it out of admiration. After understanding this concept, the netizens were silent. They felt that their imagination was limited by poverty. So, how did the Qin family get the owner of this residence to agree to their family's birthday celebration? How much money would this cost? Instantly, the excited Jiao fans fell silent. Only a few netizens could not help feeling jealous. Bei Yunj is the eldest young lady of the Qin family after all. She actually invited a popular female celebrity? It's so degrading. Anti-fans, don't be jealous. No matter what, it's a place you can't enter in your life. The artiste your Qin Yo Jiao invited is a C-list artiste. Our man is an A-list artiste. What's the matter? Question, acting like a nouveau riche. Are you afraid that you don't know that the Qin family is rich? For Qin Yo Jiao to receive an invitation to the Neely Ball, it means that she has connections in the industry. Isn't it obvious who's the tacky one now? Those who talk about connections really don't know who the owner of Uther Residence is. Platinum Gold Royal Hotel. Qin Yo Jiao's expression was a little ugly when she saw the rumors online about Bei Yunj's birthday celebration address. Uther Residence? Mom, do you know that Bei Yunj is going to Uther Residence for her birthday? Mrs. Qin asked. Uther Residence? After Qin Yo Jiao's explanation, Mrs. Qin was furious as well. She laughed coldly. Alright, they said that I was biased back then, but what about themselves? He even booked the Uther residence. But Jiao Jiao, you don't have to worry. Platinum Gold Hotel is good too. Mother Qin caressed her cheek and said with a smile, as the daughter of a prestigious family, it's more important to have connections in the industry. The Qin family was willing to spend money because they doted on Bei Yunj. But connections represented the recognition of Bei Yunj by the outside world. Mom, is Grandpa going to bring someone powerful to Bei Yunj's birthday party? When Mother Qin heard this, she couldn't help but raise her eyebrows and smile. Silly girl, old master does have a lot of connections. But in the past 2 days, I've contacted several of your old master's old friends. They will all come to your birthday party. This situation also proved that even the Qin family's family friends were more inclined towards Qin Youjiao. Although, some of the reasons might be because of the Neely ball. Qin Youjiao lowered her head, hiding the smugness in her eyes as she restrained the smile on her lips. I understand. Uther residence. Bei Yunj had just gotten out of the car when she saw a shocking Western classical building. There was a sparkling lake in the surroundings. Nearby, there were fake stone mountains, and far away, there was a misty mountain range. Bei Yunj's eyes landed on the brightly lit residence, and she could see the expensive murals inside from afar. Chapter 313. Who booked it? Bei Yunj asked. Miss Pei, this isn't booked by anyone. It's Master Du's private residence. If you like it, you can come and play often in the future. Assistant Singh smiled on the surface, but in fact, he had mixed feelings about Huashidu's actions. Actually, the old madam had said that she wanted to leave this residence for Master Du's engagement party. However, in order to dote on Miss Pei, Master Du had no limits and even gave her Uther residence. Bei Yunj was surprised. What about brother? Sing Su shook his head. I'm not sure either. My mission is to send you to the residence. Then, when Bei Yunj walked into the residence, she realized that all the decorations in the living room were made of expensive antiques. Was such a place suitable for a banquet? Good. Old Master Qin walked over and held Bei Yunj's hand as he appeared in front of everyone. In the blink of an eye, they saw a beautiful and delicate girl walking slowly into their line of sight. Was this the real young lady of the Qin family? Everyone was stunned for a long time. Let me introduce you all. This is my only granddaughter, Bei Yunj. For the past 2 years, she has been sick and has never brought her to meet everyone. With that said, many people clapped and could not help but look at Bei Yunj a few more times. Suddenly, someone sneered, Old Master Qin, isn't your granddaughter Qin Youjiao? Is it because Miss Pei is back that you can't tolerate Miss Qin Youjiao? Hearing this, the atmosphere froze. Wasn't she obviously here to cause trouble? However, what was even more surprising was that someone actually agreed. That's right. I'm afraid Miss Pei can't compare to the glory Miss Qin Youjiao has now. It's not a glorious thing to let the granddaughter you've doted on for almost 20 years leave, right? Then, the person who spoke first pointed at Bei Yunj. He asked deliberately, Miss Pei, is all of this because of you? After that, Bei Yunj chuckled, her slow tone full of impudence. Sir, if you can't stand it anymore, it's better to change the venue now. For a moment, everyone choked on his words. This new young miss was not to be trifled with. Miss Pei, it looks like you're not afraid of offending people? The person who was rebuked had a livid expression. Bei Yunj's eyes were full of mischief. You shouldn't be the one asking this question, sir. At this moment, no one thought that Bei Yunj would really not leave any face for others. My little sister was rude. As her big brother, I apologize on her behalf. Qin Luyan's words made the person who had been looking for trouble look better. However, the next moment, Qin Luyan said slowly, Secretary Qian, go outside and hail a taxi. Send this guest to Platinum Gold Royal Hotel. In an instant, everyone looked at the handsome and calm man in front of them in disbelief. In business, Qin Luyan had always been decisive and never gave anyone face. But a man like Qin Luyan actually doted on his sister. You want me to leave? The young and handsome man flew into a rage out of humiliation. He laughed coldly. Do you think I want to come to such a birthday party? Then he turned to look at everyone and said in a disdainful tone, Everyone, the Cheng family has invited many capable people to Miss Qin Youjiao's birthday party. I heard that even the founder of Minglan Corporation, the famous old Mr. Du Xiao, is here. Do you really want to stay here? Chapter 3:14. The founder of Minglan Corporation? Wasn't this the richest man in D-City? Actually, many people originally thought that compared to Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao was more valuable. At this moment, hearing this, many people's thoughts immediately stirred. President Qin, I also think that the noble young lady's temper should be changed appropriately. It's just a joke. Yes, I'm really sorry, old Master Qin. Everyone's mood has been ruined. Those who planned to leave pushed all the blame onto Bei Yunj. Seeing this, the person who led the trouble glanced at Bei Yunj provocatively when he was about to leave with 7 to 8 guests. This time, he had really completed the task Mrs. Qing had given him easily. However, just as the man was mocking the Qin family in his heart, the guests who followed him out suddenly felt excited and shocked. Wait, look at the person walking over from the door. Doesn't she look like Bai Ji? What Bai Ji? Do you want a tissue? She's the heir of the Bai Corporation. The moment he finished speaking, someone exclaimed, Why is Ji Yiqing here? When everyone heard this name, they suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. Wasn't this the young major of the Ji family? Then, someone noticed something. There are 2 people behind. They look a little familiar. Hearing this, everyone turned back instinctively, but they muttered in their hearts. Could there be someone more important than these 2? But in the next moment, when everyone saw who it was, their legs almost turned to jelly. Bo Yuxiu? Yu Hanran? Why were the people they saw today more and more untouchable than the other? Suddenly, someone caught the main point. Are they here to attend Bei Yunj's birthday party? How is this possible? Someone could not help but mutter. However, they all knew in their hearts that this person had already walked into Yuther residence. Could it be that they had seen the wrong way? Impossible. How could the Qin family invite them? The face of the person who started the trouble first paled. He did not expect such a reversal. However, when Yu Hanran passed by, he glanced at the 7 to 8 petrified people and asked Bo Yuxiu, What's going on? Could it be that those who didn't bring birthday presents were all chased out? Fortunately, I brought it with me. Yu Hanran held the gift in his hand with a smug expression. Bo Yuxiu, as for the 7 or 8 people who went out, they were extremely regretful. The people from the Bai Corporation, the Bo Corporation, and the Yu Corporation were all here, but they didn't want such a good network and went out by themselves? The few of them were filled with regret. Looking at the laughter of the guests in the mansion, 2 of them were thick-skinned and already wanted to sneak back. However, they did not expect that there would suddenly be a few more tall and strong security guards outside, eyeing them covetously. Hence, before long, the 2 men returned with their tails between their legs. I can't enter anymore. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have followed him out on a whim. The few people who came out couldn't help but regret it. No matter how ostentatious the Cheng family was, they only managed to invite Minglan Group, which was ranked 5th on the annual market capitalization list. However, the Qin family already had 3 successors from the top 5 corporations in the country. When they thought of this, the 7 of them were filled with hatred. They couldn't help but look resentfully at the young master of the Ning family who had instigated them to come out. Impossible! Why are they here to celebrate the Qin family's birthday? Chapter 3:15. As soon as young Master Ning finished speaking, he heard another voice beside him. Mo, hold on to a lass. Today is your sister Pei's birthday. Don't make her unhappy, okay? Old Madame Hua was dressed grandly. Even though she was old, her elegant features still made people feel that she was inviolable. Yes, I have a gift for my sister too. Today, Mo was dressed like a little prince. He even carried a small school bag over and struggled to hold a lass's hand. Then Grandma is relieved. Old Madame Hua heaved a sigh of relief. She had never brought Mo to any banquets before, and this time, it was because of someone's request. When old Madame Hua walked in, the 7 people outside were about to explode. Hua, the old madam of the Hua Corporation? That can't be the young master of the Hua Corporation, right? Doesn't the young master never show his face? Why would he come to Bei Yunji's birthday? Moreover, from the tone of the young master and the old madam, it was obviously because they knew Bei Yunji. At this moment, the few people standing outside in the cold wind wanted to punch themselves. What kind of damned business did they do? Even the old madam and young master of the Hua Corporation were present at the same time. Not only were the few people outside in the cold wind shocked, but also the guests inside who were trembling in fear. Seeing the sudden arrival of the business big shots, everyone wanted to hide in a corner. Sister Pei, Mo brought a gift. Mo ran in front of Bei Yunji and said excitedly. Bei Yunji's lips curled up. She squatted down gently and looked at him at the same level. You know it's my birthday too? Of course. After saying that, everyone saw the beautiful little boy holding Bei Yunji's hand. With one hand behind his back, he suddenly kissed the back of Bei Yunji's hand. His gentlemanly demeanor made everyone turn upside down. At this moment, Mo's obsidian-like eyes were exceptionally beautiful when he smiled. Today, sister is also a princess. The young ladies below the stage could not help but cover their mouths. Their hearts were about to explode from a child's teasing. Wasn't this young master Hua too cute? Polite and gentle. He was indeed a top-notch wealthy family. Off stage, old Master Qin was also stunned. Madame Hua, right? Isn't this your? Old Madame Hua restrained her impulse and maintained her usual elegance and coldness. She held old Master Qin's hand reservedly. She gently pulled the cloak on her shoulders and smiled gently. Old Mr. Qin, right? Your girl is so lovable. Thank you for your compliment, old Madame Hua. Old Master Qin forced a smile. He did not expect Hua Shidu to bring Bei Yunji to see old Madame Hua. She also did not expect that the Hua family would personally attend Bei Yunji's birthday party. It's not a compliment. I just like this child. In the future, our 2 families should interact more. Old Madame Hua smiled slightly and quietly dug a hole. Old Master Qin chuckled awkwardly as he sensed something. This is a little embarrassing. There's no need. Look at how much my grandson likes your gu. Old Madame Hua smiled even more gently. But for a moment, old Master Qin didn't know which grandson old Madame Hua was referring to. The banquet was lively. However, no one noticed the man who was slowly walking in from the door. P.S. I'm afraid you'll say that I'm stuck. Remember the monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Chapter 316. The piano sounded. The atmosphere of the banquet became more and more cheerful. Many people started to rejoice that they had come to the Qin family's eldest daughter's birthday banquet. They had really picked up a huge bargain. Not far away, below the stage, a man holding a glass of red wine looked at the girl who looked a little bored not far away. The young lady did not like such occasions. Hua Shidu smiled silently and was not in a hurry to look for Bei Yunji. Master Du, good move. I've gathered all the people in the upper circle for you. Next time, if your little girl wants the Hua Corporation, will you give it to her too? Yu Hanran teased. He knew that Hua Shidu would definitely be there, so he had been paying attention to the movements at the door. As expected, he saw this person walk in very naturally. Who knew? Hua Shidu said casually. How do you know that I haven't given it to her before? Yu Hanran was speechless. Did Master Du still lack a sister? If he didn't care about gender, perhaps he could do it too. This girl is bold to begin with. Aren't you afraid of causing trouble if you pamper her so much? Yu Hanran was indignant. I'll take responsibility for any trouble she causes. President Yu, just look after your sister. Hua Shidu sneered. His noble and handsome eyes were very superior. After a while, it attracted the attention of many people. That's President Hua. F***ck, what kind of fate does Bei Yunji have? Even Master Du is here? Why didn't anyone say that President Hua is like this? Isn't he a typical refined scum who likes to snipe? Master Du, why don't you go over? Before Yu Hanran could finish speaking, Huashidu walked towards the girl who was cutting the cake. Bei Yunj cut a piece and handed it to Momo. Then she cut a piece for herself and tasted it. There was a hint of lime cream. It did not seem that greasy and had a faint sweetness. At this moment, Huashidu had just approached when he saw the tip of Bei Yunj's red tongue. She licked her lips gently and even rubbed her index finger against the side of her lips. The man looked away without batting an eyelid. Do you think it's a little noisy? Huashidu saw that she was only chatting with a few friends and Momo. When Bei Yunj saw Huashidu, there was a flicker of light in her eyes, which was especially attractive. Brother, do you want cake? Bei Yunj smiled and quickly cut a piece for Huashidu and handed it to him. However, Huashidu did not reach out to take it and only looked at her. It's very sweet, don't you want to try it? Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. She knew that this venue and these guests, who were rarely seen, were all the work of this person. The man suddenly responded. Before Bei Yunj could react, Huashidu suddenly picked up the cake. His noble eyes were lazy and light. Soon after, his slender index finger was stained with cream. Huashidu suddenly chuckled softly, but he casually drew a heart on her cheek. His deep and magnetic voice was lazy and sexy. It does look very sweet. Bei Yunj, Yunun, what do you wish for? Tell me. Huashidu also tasted some cake, but he was still not interested in this sweet thing. You can't tell others about wishes. Huashidu raised his eyebrows and pinched her face punishingly. What are you talking about, Yun? Am I someone else? Bei Yunj glanced at this unreasonable person and explained to him seriously, a wish is a wish made to the gods after blowing out the candles. P.S. Good night, good boys, remember to vote for the monthly recommendation ticket. Chapter 317. Who knew? The man's eyes were clear and noble, but his smile was beautiful. His deep and magnetic voice was filled with laughter, making people blush and their hearts race. Yunin, how can a god dote on you as much as I do? Bei Yunja's heart skipped a beat and she quickly changed the topic. Brother, why are you here so late today? I went to pick up an important person. Huashidu put down the cake and picked up the red wine glass again. Bei Yunj stopped his hand. Brother, there's no need to drink at this time. There were so many people now. Huashidu looked drunk. She really did not want others to see him like this. The man bent down again. His eyes were faint and abstinent, but the corners of his upturned eyes were inexplicably seductive. His low and magnetic voice tickled her ear. Then Yun, tell me first, what is your wish? Bei Yunj looked straight at the man. Suddenly, she said, Huashidu. The light in the hall was gentle and enveloped the man's handsome and superior face. His eyes were filled with light. Suddenly, Gua? Not far away, old Master Qin's voice sounded. Brother, I still have something on. I'll leave first. After Bei Yunj came back to her senses, she raised her eyes and turned to leave after speaking to Huashidu. At this moment, Yu Hanran walked over. I just heard that the original eldest daughter of the Qin family specially found someone to cause trouble at your little girl's birthday party and took away many guests. Yes. Yu Hanran did not understand what Huashidu meant. He could not help but ask, What's wrong, Master Du? Are you planning to let her off? Huashidu sneered. His pale-colored eyes were light and cold. I don't like to be calculative, but I have to be calculative on behalf of my little girl. When the guests saw that the people walking over were actually Zhong Shenglin, Director Lin Lanjun, the former principal of Yuncheng, the dean of biology of Yuncheng University, and the others, they could not help but widen their eyes. Were they all here to attend Bei Yunja's birthday party? From the successors of the corporation to the big shots in the academic circle. This was a famous scene that they had only seen once in their lives. Grandma. Bei Yunj went up and held Director Lin's hand. Her eyes were curved. Mr. Hua came to pick me up just now, but I wanted to invite a few old friends over, so I asked Mr. Hua to come back first. Director Lin looked at Bei Yunj with a smile, her eyes full of love. She reached out and patted her head. Go won't blame Grandma, right? I've never told you about my past. Grandma is a very important person to me. Pei Yunja's lips curved. When Zhong Shenglin heard this, he couldn't help but feel jealous. If he had picked up Bei Yunj back then, he wouldn't have to think of ways to steal her away now. Lanjun is really lucky. Zhong Shenglin sighed and said faintly, I also want a granddaughter. At this time, Bei Yunj turned his attention to the others. Mr. Zhong. The others are. Bei Yunj glanced at the others. The former principal of Yuncheng, the dean of biomedicine, and the current principal, Professor Yu Guang. Director Lin introduced them to Bei Yunj. She was also puzzled. How did Bei Yunj know Zhong Shenglin? This old man was arrogant and had a bad temper. Very few juniors could stand him. After Bei Yunj greeted them one by one, she invited them to sit inside. Qin Lang, who was busy receiving the guests, almost sprained his ankle when he heard this table discussing which faculty Bei Yunj should apply to. Chapter 318. The principals and deans were very enthusiastic. Zhong Shenglin resisted. Why do you want to enroll in physics and biology? Is suitable for computers. Old Zhong doesn't know how to use computers. Lin Lanjun frowned. Zhong Shenglin looked at Lin Lanjun in disbelief. He was about to refute when Bei Yunj interrupted him. Grandma, I can learn. Everyone was puzzled when they heard Bei Yunj's words. Why would a girl be interested in computers? Zhong Shenglin was also puzzled. If Bei Yunj's computer skills were not taught by Lin Lanjun, then who taught her? Computer skills are very difficult. Daughter, let's change to another one. The dean of biology tried to dissuade her. Zhong Shenglin was speechless. You don't know how good this girl's computer skills are. It's okay. I'm interested. Hearing Bei Yunj's words, the others were speechless. The information faculty had really benefited. However, then, the dean of biology kindly reminded Bei Yunj that she could transfer to another faculty in the first year. Hearing this, Zhong Shenglin had the urge to rush up and kill this old man. There were only 1 or 2 good seedlings in their computer science department. How could he harm them? Platinum Gold Hotel. The guests were discussing and laughing. I heard that there's going to be a big mess at the Qin family. All the guests have run away. What? Isn't she celebrating her birthday at Uther residence? If people are running away, then the charm of the real daughter doesn't seem to work. The other lady couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. Yes, I heard that the real daughter has a bad temper. It's a pity that such a beautiful face was given to an ignorant and incompetent person. Otherwise, where do you think the vase came from? That's true. We made the right choice. The lady holding the wine glass smiled proudly. I don't know what the people who went to the Qin family are thinking. Don't tell me they really think that a piece of trash entering the Qin family can bring them any benefits? Just as the 2 ladies were chatting happily, the husband of one of them walked over. Let's go back. The middle-aged man looked a little embarrassed. What's wrong? Did something happen? Why are we going back now? That's right, President Tao. Why did you bring Madame Tao back for no reason? Aren't we still talking about the Qin family? She's really a rich young lady? Before the woman could continue, she saw President Tao's face darken. The Bai Corporation, the Bo Corporation, the Yu Corporation, and the old madam of the Huo Corporation all went to Miss Qin's birthday party. In an instant, the smiles on their faces froze. How was this possible? Impossible. Is there a mistake? Madame Tao immediately asked. Chairman Tao rubbed his eyebrows, feeling regretful. What did I get wrong? Other than them, even Zhong Shenglin, Yu Guang, and those people from the academic world came. This time, I really stood on the wrong side. Until now, the only people Qin Youjiao could really rely on were Du Xiao and the president of Minglan Corporation. But in Bei Yunj, any one of them was a big shot that was usually out of reach. Let's go. President Tao pulled Madame Tao and left with a dark expression. The guests who were also mocking the Qin family in secret soon found out about this news. For a moment, the smiles on their faces froze like stone. How was this possible? A new elder young miss could invite so many immortals to her birthday party. Chapter 319. The people at the banquet were almost unable to laugh anymore. They felt that the people who came here to attend the banquet were fools. Then should we leave? Someone asked hesitantly. There's no need. The president of Minglan Corporation is here, so there's no need to go to Uther residence. Another person retorted. At this moment, everyone suddenly saw the president of Minglan Corporation walk out with a dark expression. Veterans General, what happened to you? Someone went up and asked with a smile. The president of Minglan Corporation glanced at him and gave a fake smile. Uther residence. With that said, the atmosphere froze. However, Qin Yojiao, who was playing the piano upstairs, did not know what had happened downstairs. Hurry up. If Master Du leaves, who else can I talk to about this contract? The Veterans General's expression did not look too good as he rushed to Uther residence with his secretary. As for the others, they could no longer put on a smile. The Veterans General had already run to Uther residence, so why were they staying here? Would they become a joke in the industry in a few days? At this moment, many people's expressions were ugly and they found an excuse to leave. Qin Yojiao, who had just finished playing the piano, could not help but look at Du Xiao and say with a smile, I've embarrassed myself in front of Elder Du. No, it's already very impressive for you to have this standard at your age. Du Xiao looked at her in admiration. After that, Mrs. Qin said with a smile, yes, Jiao Jiao is really born smart in this aspect and likes classical music very much. Du Xiao nodded in satisfaction. In time, she will definitely become someone great. She was indeed a talented young pianist. Mrs. Qin's smile deepened. I'm relieved to hear Master Du say this. Actually, all these years, Jiao Jiao has always wanted to find a teacher. I wonder if Master Du... The guests downstairs should still be here, right? Du Xiao's sudden interruption made Mrs. Qin and Qin Yojiao's expressions freeze. They did not know if Du Xiao did it on purpose. Qin Yojiao nodded and said with a smile, there are many guests downstairs. I'll go with you to greet them. After that, Qin Yojiao led Du Xiao out of the second floor, but who knew that when she reached the first floor, it was a completely different scene. Her expression suddenly changed. She glanced at the banquet where there were only 7 or 8 people left. Where are the others? At this moment, a waiter walked over. Miss, there are too many guests leaving early today, so only these few were left. The waiter didn't dare to finish his sentence. However, Qin Yojiao's expression still darkened. How could something like this happen at her birthday party? Do you know where they went? Qin Yojiao took a deep breath. I don't know, but the Veterans General of Minglan Group went to Uther residence. These words almost made Qin Yojiao break down on the spot. Why would the Veterans General want to go to Uther residence? This was a big shot that Madame Cheng had painstakingly brought over from the Cheng family. I understand. Qin Yojiao's face stiffened as she suppressed the anger in her heart. But suddenly, Du Xiao, who hadn't spoken much, asked, Uther residence? Is Miss Yu Man ran there too? The waiter was stunned for a moment before he nodded instinctively. I'm sorry, Mrs. Qin, Miss Qin Yojiao. I still have something to do at Uther residence. I'll talk to the two of you when I have the chance in the future. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 320. Qin Yojiao's face paled and she said immediately, Old Master Du, if there's anything, you can go tomorrow. It's already late. Why don't you stay at Platinum Gold Hotel for the night? If Du Xiao went too, wouldn't she really become a joke? Who knew? Du Xiao's attitude was firm. No. I came here this time to ask Miss Yu for an explanation. She kept saying that she was busy, so how can I miss this opportunity? With that said, Du Xiao ran out without looking back. This scene made the others not dare to speak when they saw Qin Yojiao's expression. Not many people came to attend a birthday party and they were all running to someone else's birthday party. Qin Yojiao's eyes were red and her lips were almost bleeding from biting them. She gritted her teeth. Did Bei Yunj get Big Brother and the rest to do something? Hearing this, the service staff replied softly, I heard from a lady just now that many new rich people in the business world came from Miss Pei's side. The Bai Corporation, Bo Corporation, U Corporation, and Hua Corporation are all there. With that said, not only Qin Yojiao, even Mrs. Qin's face paled. Now they understood that it was indeed not the Qin family who did it, but that person from the Hua family. Perhaps the departure of the veterans general had something to do with this person from the Hua family. Qin Yojiao's expression was terrible and she could not help but go back to her room and cry. Youth residence. Du Xiao had just gone over when he saw the veterans general being stopped at the door. Why isn't the veterans general going in? The veterans general's expression did not look too good either. You can't go in without an invitation. Previously, the Qin family had actually asked him if he wanted to come, but the veterans general had already promised the Cheng family, so he had deliberately rejected them. But who knew that there would be such a reversal? Even Master Du had gone to this real young lady's birthday party. I see. Du Xiao called Yu Manran, wanting to ask Yu Manran out. At the same time, Yu Manran's eyelids twitched when she received the call. She looked at Bai Yunj. This Du Xiao has been pestering me for a long time. It's because of your arrangement that he wants to look for you. No. Bai Yunj sat on the sofa calmly, her bright eyes full of charm. Yu Manran chatted with Du Xiao for a while, then covered the microphone and said to Bai Yunj, they came all the way here, and I was too embarrassed to reject them. Now, I'm still at the entrance of the mansion, and I'm being stopped. Then bring him in first. Bai Yunj frowned without batting an eyelid. All right. Yu Manran quickly walked out and did not expect to see a familiar face. Hey, isn't this our veterans general? You're an artist. Why you here? The veterans general's face darkened, and he was furious. Previously, the veterans general had wanted to sleep with Yu Manran and was beaten up by Yu Manran. Since then, they had formed a grudge. It's none of your business. Yu Manran smiled, then looked at Du Xiao. Mr. Du, let me bring you in. Why can she bring people in? The veterans general was very dissatisfied. Young lady just called and let Miss Yu's friend in. In an instant, the veterans general's face darkened. He had never been treated like this in his life. After Yu Manran brought people in, even Du Xiao could not help but sigh. Every corner of this mansion could be said to be a work of art. This young lady of the Qin family could celebrate her birthday in such a place. Or over here. Yu Manran greeted Bai Yunj and brought people forward. Chapter 321. This is old Mr. Du Xiao. After Yu Manran introduced Bai Yunj, he introduced Du Xiao. This is Bai Yunj. Bai Yunj smiled and shook hands with Du Xiao. After that, Bai Yunj asked unhurriedly, May I know why old Mr. Du is looking for me? These words stunned Du Xiao for a moment. Then, he reacted and widened his eyes in excitement. You are Yuen? When Bai Yunj heard this, he turned around and asked Yu Manran, Is that my name? That's right. Yu Manran said with a serious expression, You don't know how popular a scientific researcher was a while ago. If you use this name, you will definitely be scolded for trying to gain popularity. So the company asked me to help you change your name. How is it? It sounds pretty good, right? After Bai Yunj verified it, he turned to look at Du Xiao. Old Mr. Du, you can speak now. I want to ask if Miss Pei has any interest in developing in the direction of music. Du Xiao was a little nervous. He didn't expect that this popular arranger would be so young. No, I just need money occasionally. Bai Yunj's words made Yu Manran's eyelids twitch. He didn't expect Bai Yunj to really define arranging as a part-time job. But Miss Pei is very talented. I won't be thick-skinned and say that I want to be Miss Pei's teacher, but if Miss Pei is willing, I'm willing to pave the way for Miss Pei. Du Xiao couldn't help but persuade her. But what benefits will this bring to you, old Mr. Du? Even Yu Manran couldn't help but ask. This was a top musician who was popular both at home and abroad. I do have a favor to ask of Miss Pei. As the president of the International Musicians Association, I hope that Miss Pei can become a member of our International Musicians Association. Du Xiao smiled helplessly. I have an obsession. I always hope that the International Musicians Association can have a person from country A. Unfortunately, when I was 6 or 7 years old, I had already migrated. I don't have a proper status. I won't develop in this direction, but if Elder Du thinks that I'm suitable to join the International Musicians Association, I will also consider it. Du Xiao's eyes lit up when he heard that Bei Yunj was willing to give in. Sure. That's naturally possible. Du Xiao gave Bei Yunj his contact number and smiled from ear to ear. I'll wait for your good news then, Miss Pei. Bei Yunj watched Du Xiao leave, but there was no emotion in his eyes. Father Pei, this is an invitation from the president of the International Musicians Association. Are you going or not? Yu Man Ran had just suppressed his excitement, but after Du Xiao left, he excitedly grabbed Bei Yunj's hand. Once the name of a member of the International Musicians Association was released, it would cause a sensation in the industry. After all, this was the first time the International Musicians Association had extended an invitation to someone from their country. Moreover, the president had personally invited him. Qin Youjiao was sucking up to Du Xiao because she wanted to build a relationship with him. After all, with her current aptitude, she could not enter the International Musicians Association. Think about it. Bei Yunj turned around and walked into the building. Yu Man Ran, who had caught up from behind, actively put in a good word for Du Xiao. Until the banquet ended. The guests had also arranged their rooms. However, when Bei Yunj pushed open the door of Building 7 of Yuther Residence, she found that the lights inside were dim. There seemed to be someone lying on the sofa. Brother! Bei Yunj walked closer and saw the man's figure clearly. The handsome and dignified man was leaning against the sofa lazily. His side profile was well-defined and his facial features were well-defined. Chapter 322. The man leaned against the sofa. The cold fragrance on his body was stained with the smell of alcohol. The 2 buttons on his collar were loose, revealing his exquisite collarbone. His exposed skin seeped into his firm chest that made people blush and their hearts race. It looked like a tempting crime scene. Bei Yunj's long eyelashes fluttered, hiding the thoughts in her eyes and a certain thought that was about to take action. Brother, are you asleep? Bei Yunj asked. However, after a while, the man leaning on the sofa did not move. You're sleeping so soundly. Bei Yunj muttered to herself. She rested her chin on her hand and gently brushed her index finger across the man's eyelashes. Why are you so good-looking? With that said, suddenly, Bei Yunj's mind replayed what Yu Man Ran had said last time. The easiest ways to test your feelings are to hold hands, kiss, and make love. Her beautiful face was unreadable, but her gaze landed on the man's thin red lips. Suddenly, Bei Yunj called out softly again, Brother? Seeing that there was no movement, Bei Yunj's lips suddenly curved. Her lazy and beautiful eyes made people unable to take their eyes off her. I'm sorry, brother. It's your union's birthday today. I want a birthday present. Bei Yunj's eyes curled up slightly. Her clear eyes looked harmless, but she said without any guilt, Then brother, just take it that I secretly took advantage of you. With that said, Bei Yunj could not help but gently hold the man's hand. Her red lips moved closer to his warmth. This was just a very light touch, like a feather falling on the surface of a lake. When Bei Yunj raised her head again, her eyebrows moved. She muttered to herself, I don't seem to feel anything. What was going on? Suddenly, Bei Yunj's fingers seemed to move slightly. She looked up suddenly, her heart beating so fast that she abandoned all distracting thoughts. However, Huashidu did not wake up. Seeing this, Bei Yunj's hanging heart finally relaxed. Sure enough, when a person does something bad, they will definitely feel guilty. Hence, the guilty Bei Yunj could not wake Huashidu up. She could only go upstairs and find a thin blanket to cover the man before going upstairs silently. She didn't realize that her ears had turned red. She also didn't notice that the man on the sofa had slowly opened his eyes. His pair of pale and abstinent eyes had gradually darkened, hiding all the light in them. The next day, Huashidu came down from upstairs and realized that Bei Yunj had already left. Master Du, you didn't sleep last night? Sung Soo felt that there was something wrong with Master Do's state. He seemed to have something on his mind. But when he thought about it, he felt that something wasn't right. Master Do had always acted casually and had never taken anything to heart. How could he be troubled? Will the younger generation in your family take the initiative to get close to their elders? The man sitting at the table asked inexplicably with a calm expression. Of course I will. Sung Soo chuckled. I have a niece who really likes me. Then, to what extent would her most intimate actions be? Hoshidu's eyes darkened. Kiss me. Sung Soo thought for a while. His little niece, who was 3 or 4 years old, liked to smear saliva on other people's faces. Hoshidu fell silent and thought of the little girl's sneaky actions last night. He felt that this action was a little beyond his understanding. So much so that he didn't open his eyes immediately after waking up last night. Master Do, why are you suddenly concerned about this? Sung Soo was stunned. It's nothing. Hoshidu glanced at him and said calmly, I just feel that this isn't very good. P.S. Master Do is going to start wooing people. Good guys, remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 323. What's wrong with that? I'm an elder, so it's only right. Hearing this, the man's eyes still looked indifferent, but there was an inexplicable aggressiveness in them. He snorted. Ridiculous. Sung Soo was speechless. As an elder, you have to know your limits. Don't let the younger generation misunderstand. You should give appropriate care. No one knew who Hoshidu was talking to. Sung Soo scratched his head in confusion. Misunderstanding? Why would she misunderstand? What could a 3 or 4-year-old niece misunderstand? Go get the car and go to the company first. No emotions could be seen in Hoshidu's noble and superior eyes as his tone was light. Yes. After Sung Soo left, Hoshidu unconsciously caressed his thin red lips with the back of his fingers. He remembered what happened last night, including that secret kiss. It was as if there was still warmth on his lips. Hoshidu hid the emotions in his eyes very well and his expression gradually returned to normal. This time, it was his fault for not paying attention and affecting the little girl's studies. Someone else had placed the child with him, but he had almost led her astray. At this thought, Hoshidu felt that the matter was still a little difficult to deal with. He could not tell the little girl openly, or it would hurt her pride. But Hoshidu's current mood was still unclear. However, he could not do something like harming high school students. This morning, the headlines exploded. The Qin and Qing families' birthday banquets were all over the internet. Initially, everyone thought that the Qing family would definitely stand out for Qin Yojiao this time. However, who would have thought that the guests from the Qin family would expose themselves one by one? They were all terrifying, so much so that the anti-fans could not think of a good word for a moment. How could I forget back then? This Bei Yunj was raised by Director Lin. She is indeed the elder young miss of the scientific research field. Elder Zhong, Professor Yu Guang, and the rest are all there. It's not just the scientific research field. I know that the Qin family has a lot of connections. However, the successors of the top 5 companies in the country last year all went to Uther residence to report. This is amazing. The big boss seems to have been collected by someone. Goodbye, is there really such a thing? The commenter above is wrong. The CEO of Minglan Corporation was stopped outside and not allowed to enter. I don't know about other things, but Minglan Group? Wasn't it rumored that he went to the Chung family? Originally, I went there. But I don't know why I suddenly ran out of Platinum Gold Royal Hotel and stood in front of Uther residence for 2 hours. The netizens who saw this news could no longer describe their feelings at this moment. Let me reveal something, I guarantee it's true. Last night, the fake daughter invited 2 big shots. After they left, the number of guests could be counted with 2 hands. No way, no way, no way? Is this still the only person invited to our Neely 18 debutante ball? Doghead, is there a need to be jealous? He had to hand it to them. The entire internet was filled with hostility, and they were all worshipping money. So what if she's a real daughter? No matter how highly trash is praised, she's still trash. Yeah, she's not even a fake daughter. Neely's 18th prom invited a fake one, but they didn't invite the real one. She's bragging about the Neely 18 ball again, Jiao Fan, thumbs up. In the piano room, Chu Zhixing was playing the piano. Bei Yunj still didn't sleep well last night. Her eyes were slightly red, but she wasn't sleepy. Instead, she was thinking about what happened last night. Chapter 324. You can even be in a daze? Lu Yuanxi looked at her with a complicated gaze. For the past week, he had been tortured by the sound of the piano and was about to have a heart attack. After Bei Yunj came back to her senses, she looked at Lu Yuanxi and then at Chu Zhixing, who had finished playing. Master Pei, I played well, didn't I? Chu Zhixing didn't know why, but he was very confident in his piano skills. Bei Yunj nodded and said lazily, yes, as I listen, I seem to know how to write my will. Chu Zhixing, Lu Yuanxi, who was beside him, burst out laughing. As expected of Master Pei. He was right to catch her. Fatty Chu had been obsessed with piano practice recently. He dragged him to listen to him play the piano and often felt good about himself. If a ruthless person didn't come, he would think that he was a genius. Nonsense, I have a sister who likes me to play the piano the most. Chu Zhixing frowned. If it were any other time, Bei Yunj might have teased him a little, but now she wasn't in the mood. After that, before Chu Zhixing could ask Bei Yunj persistently, Bei Yunj's phone rang. I'm going to take a call. Bei Yunj walked out and glanced at the caller ID. It was an unfamiliar number. After the call was connected, before Bei Yunj could say anything, she heard an anxious voice. Miss Pei? It's me. I'm Vice President Lin. Director Lin's scandal. I don't know who made the headlines. I'll suppress it for you, but the number of views is too big. It's difficult to suppress it. What? Pei Yunj furrowed her eyebrows as her eyes turned cold. Do you want to take a look for yourself? Vice President Lin took a deep breath and asked carefully. He really didn't have the guts to say anything about Director Lin. Even if he didn't know if it was true or not, many people on the internet had already spread it quickly. After all, because of the topic of Bei Yunj, even Director Lin's attention had increased a lot. Got it, thank you. The temperature in Bei Yunj's eyes gradually turned cold. When Vice President Lin heard this gratitude, he felt inexplicably flattered. Bei Yunj had just hung up the phone when she saw Zhong Shenglin's message. Someone wanted her help and asked for her opinion. Not free. After Bei Yunj replied, she left the school and went to the nearest internet cafe. Computing Institute. I'm sorry. I rejected it. Zhong Shenglin smiled as he looked at the handsome and masculine man in front of him. He had already expected this. With Bei Yunj's temper, it would be impossible for her to agree. Ji Qing looked at him and said in a gentle tone, this case is very important to our entire district. Elder Zhong, I sincerely want to borrow it from you. Yiqing, your grandfather and I are old acquaintances. If I can help you, I will naturally help you. But she's not from my institute. Even if she was from my institute, she was groomed to be the successor of the director. Zhong Shenglin's smile didn't reach his eyes. If she doesn't agree to it, I won't force her. Ji Qing clenched his fists and pressed the tip of his tongue against his cheek. After a while, he asked again, is there only one person in the entire institute who can help me? Most of the people in the institute are academic. 1 or 2 people who know how to track and decipher are not as good as the people under you. Zhong Shenglin smiled again and said, as for giving her a computer, I don't know how well she can control it. Chapter 325. He knew about the Computing Institute because Zhong Shenglin had accidentally bragged about it when he was drinking with old Master Ji 2 days ago. But he didn't expect that Zhong Shenglin treated her like a treasure and didn't want her to have any contact with the war zone. You have high expectations of her. Ji Yiqing smiled. But Grandpa Zhong, this is the first time I'm begging you. Can you help me ask her again? I've been investigating this case for a year and a half, and 2 friends have already died. They have very powerful technical figures behind them, and they always get our information 1 step ahead of us. Hearing this, a hint of hesitation flashed across Zhong Shenglin's eyes, But he still didn't want Bei Yunj to get involved in this kind of thing. After all, it was too dangerous for Bei Yunj. And it was very easy for vicious criminals to target her. But now that Ji Yiqing had visited several times, he could tell that this matter was already serious. Yiqing, let's talk again when we're free. I still have a meeting to attend. After Zhong Shenglin finished speaking, he patted Ji Yiqing's shoulder and left. It was as if he was afraid that if he stayed any longer, he would really be unable to resist helping Ji Yiqing. Seeing Zhong Shenglin leave, Ji Yiqing's subordinate frowned. Elder Zhong is obviously not such a person. Why won't he even lend us a person? Hui, Elder Zhong can't afford to gamble either. Ji Yiqing's gaze darkened. He understood the importance of the Computing Institute. Let's go. After leaving the Computing Institute, Hui, who was beside Ji Yiqing, couldn't help but ask, are we giving up just like that? Since Elder Zhong isn't willing to pull the strings, then I can only come and disturb you. Ji Yiqing said lightly. Internet cafe. Bei Yunj's eyes darkened when she saw the old news about Director Lin online. These photos of Director Lin when she was young looked real. But the person who exposed the news said that Director Lin was a mistress who destroyed other people's families when she was young. As for these photos, they were also taken when she was caught in bed. At this moment, the comments were already at two extremes. One side felt that Director Lin was kind-hearted and wouldn't do such a thing. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done so many good deeds. On the other hand, the other side felt that Principal Lin was only doing this to clear her name. Even the matter of Bei Yunj was brought up again, mocking Director Lin for wanting to marry into a wealthy family. Bei Yunj's eyes darkened. Seeing that the news couldn't die down, he decided to help the technical department. So much so that the technical department, who had been frantically deleting posts after receiving the task, thought that they were seeing things. Why did these posts suddenly disappear? Vice President, the post that we wanted to delete disappeared on its own. The head of the technical department was still in a daze. Vice President Lin was silent for a moment. The person who would do such a thing immediately appeared in his mind. It's okay. It's good that it's gone. You guys can continue with your work. Vice President Lin also took a deep breath. His heart that had been hanging in the air finally relaxed. Fortunately, this ancestor didn't get angry. Bei Yunj flipped through the information she had copied on her phone and went to the Computing Institute. Meanwhile, Ji Yiqing, who had nothing to do and was sitting in the car, saw a familiar figure. Isn't that Master Du's daughter? Last night, he saw this little girl whispering to Master Du at the birthday party. Today, he actually saw her appear at the institute. Isn't this the real daughter? Hui's tone was a little mocking. The Qin family isn't enough for her to behave atrociously, so they all came here? Chapter 326. Hui. Ji Yiqing glanced at him warningly. No matter what Bei Yunj was, she was still Hui Shidu's woman. Hui was a little indignant. He looked at Qin Youjiao from the Qin family. She was clearly much better than this ignorant and incompetent real young lady. However, he did not expect the Qin family to be so ruthless. They chased her out directly and even announced it to everyone. She's indeed out of place here, Hui said softly. That has nothing to do with you. The moment Bei Yunj entered the Computing Institute, she called Director Lin. However, no one answered after ringing for a long time. She seemed to have thought of something and quickened her steps as a trace of coldness flashed past her eyes. However, Si Qingyan, who happened to see Bei Yunj, was frightened by her murderous gaze. Usually, Bei Yunj looked lazy, so much so that he almost forgot that when he first saw her, this person looked like she was not to be trifled with. But now, he did not know who had provoked Bei Yunj. Who are you looking at? Zhong Shenglin came over and asked in confusion. Your baby looks like she wants to kill someone's entire family today. Si Qingyan gloated. Zhong Shenglin's expression darkened and he slapped the back of Si Qingyan's head. Speak more elegantly. There are girls in our institute too. Si Qingyan was perplexed. Really? Did Bei Yunj even count? I'm not going to argue with you. I'll go find Ge. With that said, Zhong Shenglin turned around with a loving smile on his face. Si Chengyan was speechless. This old man was heartless. He did not even think about who had accompanied him for 2 years and never left him. In the research lab, Bei Yunj glanced at the information she had found and called Director Lin's son, Lin Jianan. After the phone beeped twice, a very drunk man answered her call. Who is it? Bei Yunj sat in front of the long table, her fingers tapping on the table carelessly as she said slowly, Bei Yunj. Where is Grandma? Lin Jianan smiled when he heard the voice. Yo, you've become a phoenix after flying up the branch. You still fancy that old thing Lin Lanjun? Oh, I almost forgot. This old thing is very powerful. It's only right for you to curry favor with him. Upon hearing Lin Jianan's words, Bei Yunj suppressed the coldness in her eyes and repeated, Where? You won't be able to see her. If you want to see her so badly, how about you give me 1,000,000 yuan? Bei Yunj controlled her temper and said casually, 10 million, and I'll take care of Grandma in the future. Of course, she knew what kind of scum Lin Jianan was. But in any case, this was Principal Lin's son. She had to give him face. Yo, you've really become the daughter of a wealthy family. 10 million is so easy? What a pity, I think it's too little. Lin Jianan's eyes were filled with greed. I want 50 million. All right, I want him today. Bei Yunj didn't say much to Lin Jianan. She just asked him to send her the address. The phone call had just ended. A few young men around them who had overheard the conversation between Bei Yunj and Lin Jianan were itching for money. Brother Nan, how can 50 million be enough? The Qin family's assets are hundreds of millions. Lin Jianan raised his chin at the crowd. Of course 50 million isn't enough. I'll ask for more after I've spent all my money. In any case, that old thing would definitely take care of him. Brother Nan, why don't we just do something big? A shrewd look flashed across the eyes of the person who spoke. How about we kidnap Bei Yunj together and let the Qin family take the ransom? I heard that Bei Yunj spent hundreds of millions on her birthday party. P.S. My precious child, remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 327. What if that wretched girl calls the police? Lin Jianan was still worried. Brother Nan, you're Director Lin's son. One of his followers went up to massage Lin Jianan's shoulders. He laughed and said, Look, that wretched girl gave you 50 million for Director Lin. If you can get a few 100 million, we won't have to worry about the rest of our lives. That's right. The Qin family doesn't lack money anyway. The person next to him agreed. Lin Jianan was tempted when he heard this. In the end, he sent an address to Bei Yunj. At this moment, the person who had just suggested the plans secretly made a phone call. Mrs. Ning, Lin Jianan has already planned to kidnap Bei Yunj. We'll proceed according to your plan. That's good. The woman sitting in the bungalow had a calculating and shrewd look in her eyes. Her nails were painted red as she stroked the Persian cat in her arms. How can a person like Lin Lanjun enjoy her old age? Continue to instigate Lin Jianan to personally destroy Bei Yunj. Do you understand? By then, the Qin family will probably go crazy. Don't worry, Mrs. Ning. We'll definitely complete the task you've given us, the person said respectfully. Bei Yunj looked at the address Lin Jianan sent and laughed ambiguously. Oh, what's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Zhong Shenglin knocked on the door and walked in gently. Bei Yunj didn't hide anything from Zhong Shenglin and roughly told him about Director Lin. Hearing this, even Zhong Shenglin's face darkened. This matter is most likely related to that person from the Ning family. Back then, she was always against Lanjun. Lanjun has a good temper and didn't take it to heart. Zhong Shenglin said coldly, She's already so old, but she's still bringing up old scores. Elder Zhong, I'm going to the abandoned chemical plant in the southern district, Bei Yunj said. I'll get a few people to go with you. Although it was a private place, the higher-ups still sent people to protect them. This was also to prevent criminals from having designs on high-tech products. No need. A dark look flashed past Bei Yunj's eyes. If she brought people over, she wouldn't be able to see what Lin Jianan wanted to do. Okay, be careful. Call me if you need anything. All right. Bei Yunj smiled. At the door. Hui was surprised to see that Zhong Shenglin had personally escorted Bei Yunj out. Elder Zhong sent her out? Brother Ji, even you don't get such treatment, right? Hui was in disbelief. Ji Qing had been staring at Bei Yunj all along. He saw that her expression was indifferent, without any enthusiasm, but she seemed to have a good relationship with Zhong Shenglin. Could she be Elder Zhong's granddaughter? Hui made a bold guess. Maybe the Qin family had found the wrong person. Don't talk nonsense. As soon as Ji Qing finished speaking, he felt Bei Yunj's gaze on him. His entire body froze. At the same time, Zhong Shenglin asked, "What's wrong?" "Elder Zhong, someone's watching us." Bei Yunj smiled faintly, then said to Zhong Shenglin, "You can go back first." A strange look appeared in Zhong Shenglin's eyes. He glanced at the ordinary car not far away and entered the place without saying a word. After that, Bei Yunj took a taxi and left. She didn't look at Ji Qing's side. "She scared me to death. I thought she discovered us." "Hui, drive. Follow her." Ji Qing instructed. "Aren't we blocking the way? Why should we follow her?" Hui was unwilling. Chapter 328. If you don't leave now, Elder Zhong will whip you with a broom. Ji Qing's unhurried words woke Hui up abruptly. He really saw Zhong Shenglin holding a broom and 7 or 8 security guards behind him with electric batons in their hands. They appeared very aggressive. Hui held back his expletives and drove quickly. Bei Yunj was playing with her phone and asked with a smile, "Uncle, can we shake off the car behind us?" "Then sit tight, my daughter. I'll give it a try." Hearing this, the driver put down the thermos cup happily, stepped on the gas pedal, and sped off. Hui, who was behind him, was caught off guard. He saw the taxi disappear after a turn like a sci-fi movie. F***CK? Hui's face turned pale. At this moment, the driver sped off, revealing a large coiling dragon tattoo on his arm. "My daughter, is that a stalker? Do you want me to call the police?" Bei Yunj looked at him with interest. "No need. The southern district is very chaotic, and the chemical plant has been abandoned. If something happens to you, Mom and Dad will be heartbroken. Don't be so reckless," the driver said with an accent. "Thank you, Uncle." Bei Yunj nodded, but she did not hide the laziness in her eyes. After getting out of the car, the driver could not bear it and left her his phone number, asking her to look for him if anything happened. His daughter was quite good-looking. It would be a pity if something happened to her. After that, looking at the note, Bei Yunj smiled. Then, she put it in her pocket and walked to the chemical plant. As for Ji Qing, who was left behind, he had to use his connections to find out that Bei Yunj was heading in the direction of the chemical plant. What a disgrace. I'm in an SUV, but I was left behind by that shabby-looking taxi. Hui gritted his teeth. Ji Qing ignored him and went into the chemical plant after getting out of the car. At the chemical plant, Bei Yunj saw the chains on the rusty iron gate. She smiled slightly and then pulled it down casually. Then she walked into the chemical plant. However, when Bei Yunj stepped into the chemical plant, 7 or 8 young men appeared. Seeing this, Bei Yunj smiled even more brightly and lazily. The hand holding the chain directly locked the iron door. Lin Jianan and the others couldn't help but sneer at his actions. "You've got guts, coming here alone. Instead of running, you even locked the door? Aren't we afraid that you'll run away?" Bei Yunj's eyes curved into crescents. Her beautiful eyes were filled with undisguised arrogance. Hearing this, several people laughed out loud. "Brother Nan, your niece is so pretty. Don't try anything funny. We've already kidnapped them. Just get the ransom and don't provoke the Qin family." Lin Jianan was still afraid of the Qin family. It's okay to take a few nude photos, right? Otherwise, why would the Qin clan be afraid? Several young men stared fixedly at Bei Yunj with greedy eyes. "Where's Grandma?" Bei Yunj walked over and saw more than a dozen beer bottles on the ground, but there was no one else around. "If you go back with me obediently, you'll be able to see that old thing." Lin Jianan stared at her gloomily. "Otherwise, Don't blame me for letting you down. Did you lie to me on purpose? No one noticed that Bei Yunji's tone had lost its warmth. So what? Come with me obediently to take a video and let your brothers come and save you. After Lin Jianan finished speaking, he ordered his men to catch Bei Yunji. However, who thought that Bei Yunji would grab the person's hand? She looked at him playfully and laughed. The next moment, the sound of a broken arm was heard. The atmosphere on the field suddenly became bone-chilling. Chapter 329. The painful howls of their companions made their scalps go numb. They had no time to hide their savage expressions. However, the girl in front of them was still smiling beautifully, but she did not hide the coldness in her voice. You found a good place. There are no cameras. Bei Yunji grabbed the young man's hair and walked slowly toward them. This scene caused a layer of goosebumps to rise all over everyone's body. Didn't Lin Jianan say that Bei Yunji was timid and would be bullied every day? She was like a living Azura. Which bear's heart and leopard's guts would dare to bully her every day? However, after Lin Jianan came back to his senses, anger rose in his heart. This good-for-nothing actually dared to hit him? Bei Yunji, you're capable, aren't you? Now, I'll teach you a lesson. Lin Jianan picked up the metal pipe in his hand and walked toward Bei Yunji with a ferocious expression. At this moment, Qi, who had rushed over, happened to see this scene. However, before he could do anything, the two of them saw Bei Yunji grab the metal pipe that was swinging towards her and kick that person's abdomen ruthlessly with her knee. Even they, who were outside, could hear the dull sound of the collision clearly. This scene was too horrifying. Brother Ji Shishi. Ai Hui could not recover from the shock. Ji Qing did not speak. Bei Yunji had already stepped on Lin Jianan's head. The playfulness and coldness in her eyes sent chills down the spines of the others. Uncle Jianan, are you going to tell me? Bei Yunji smiled gently, but her eyes were arrogant and unruly. The surrounding people almost wanted to climb out of the door and run away. Lin Jianan was Bei Yunji's uncle after all. If they were in her shoes, their skulls would have been cracked by her. You're treating me like this. If my mother finds out. Before Lin Jianan could finish speaking, Bei Yunji kicked him in the back. He rolled back 1 to 2 meters. The scene was too horrifying. You still want to complain? Bei Yunji took out a small knife from his pocket and smiled. So I shouldn't keep you here? Seeing the vicious look in Bei Yunji's eyes, the people around her became mute. Their legs trembled, and none of them dared to step forward. Usually, they would scam people casually in the poor streets. When had they ever seen such a scene? Lin Jianan couldn't help but scream when he felt the cold blade graze his face. Let me go. Let me go and I'll tell you where that damned old hag is. After saying this, the knife in Bei Yunji's hand had already slashed across his eyeball, pierced through his sleeve, and pinned it to the ground. The shadow that almost cut off his eyeballs made Lin Jianan scream. The few people around them could not bear this terrifying scene any longer. They ran straight for the iron gate. How could money be more important than his life? The one from the Qin clan was clearly an evil spirit. Uncle, I'm sorry. I tore your clothes. Bei Yunji apologized slowly, making Lin Jianan unable to withstand the pressure in his heart and burst into tears. They tricked me into doing this. Don't be angry. Where's Grandma? She's in Mrs. Ning's hands. Mrs. Ning asked me to secretly kidnap my mother. She was the one who threatened me. Yunji, believe me. Lin Jianan cried bitterly. But suddenly, with a sound, the lock of the iron gate in the distance was opened. Chapter 330. Bei Yunji looked at him from the corner of her eyes and realized that he looked familiar. She seemed to have seen him last night. Hello, Miss Pei. Ji Qing's lips curled up. His young and handsome face became gentler. He didn't look like someone from a war zone. Instead, he looked more like a scholar. Before Ah Hui could mock him, Bei Yunji said slowly, You must have spent a lot of time looking for me, right? How did you know? Ah Hui's eyes widened. He didn't expect Bei Yunji to discover them. In the past, even when they were investigating, very few people would discover them. However, the moment he finished speaking, Yiqing, who was beside him, glanced at him coldly. Hui immediately shut his mouth. Sir, save me. This woman is crazy. Lin Jianan became bolder when he saw Yiqing. He looked at Bei Yunj with hatred. This woman hit my brother and now she wants to hit me. Look at the knife in her hand. Hui looked at Yiqing and said, Brother Ji, Bei Yunj is deliberately hurting you. Before he could finish speaking, Yiqing took a step back and smiled leisurely. Miss Pei, let's talk after you've settled your matter. Lin Jianan was stunned when he heard this. Hui turned to look at Yiqing in disbelief. Brother Ji, this is against the rules. I'll accept my punishment when we get back. Yiqing was nonchalant and didn't care at all. His main goal now was to find out who it was. It wasn't worth offending Bei Yunj for a hooligan. As long as no one died, she could do whatever she wanted. Hui opened his mouth, but nothing came out in the end. Mr. Ji, you're quite smart. Bei Yunj smirked before her eyes landed lazily on Lin Jianan. Lin Jianan sank into fear. Before he could beg for mercy, a blood-curdling scream resounded throughout the chemical plant. It made one's scalp go numb. Even Hui was scared witless when he saw such a young lady being so ruthless. This is the last question. It's a race question. Only the first person to answer will be allowed to leave standing. Without waiting for the others to think, Bei Yunj asked unhurriedly, who was the one who posted the photos and stuff online? Bei Yunj's smile did not reach her eyes. 3-2, Hong Han. It's Hong Han. I saw him secretly calling Mrs. Ning. One of the smallest of them said without thinking. Bei Yunj glanced at the man, indicating that he could leave. When the others saw this scene, they were envious. Miss Pei, I still have something to say. My account was the one they used to spread the news about me. I can go and clarify it. After the first person rushed to answer, there were immediately others who were unwilling to be left behind. Miss Pei, the phone that Madame Ning used to contact Hong Han was the backup phone. You can check their phone numbers and find their records. Also, they transferred the money to Lin Jianan's wife. Seeing that everyone had spilled the beans, even Hui could not react in time. Sure enough, hooligans are afraid of bullies, Hui muttered. Lin Jianan and Hong Han can stay. The rest of you can get lost. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, the others fled like a swarm of bees. Miss Pei, I was instructed to do this. Madame Ning asked me to instigate Lin Jianan to kidnap Director Lin. She was also the one who wanted to ruin you. Chapter 331. Hong Han's emotions were unstable. Seeing how Bei Yunj had beaten Lin Jianan up just now, he had a feeling that he would be the next person. Didn't someone mention this just now? Bei Yunj walked over and stepped on his hand, grinding it slowly. Her upturned eyes were filled with coldness. Even Huey's hand hurt when he saw this scene. This Miss Pei was really an evil spirit. Bei Yunj. Miss Pei, I can bring you to Mrs. Ning. Hearing this, the corners of Bei Yunj's lips curled up and she finally stopped using force. Sure. Don't think about running away, unless you don't want these legs anymore. These words made Hong Han heave a sigh of relief. No, that won't happen. It's my honor to work for Miss Pei. Hong Han carefully tried to please her. Mrs. Ning's methods were only superficial. Compared to this person who didn't even talk to you when fighting, she was simply too inferior. He would rather offend that old person than this young one. So, seeing that Bei Yunj had let everyone go and he was the only one left, Lin Jianan was even more afraid. Yunj. Without another word, Bei Yunj kicked his shoulder and Lin Jianan rolled back. 50 million isn't even enough for you to spend, Uncle Jianan? Bei Yunj's beautiful eyes became even brighter, but the coldness in her tone was terrifying. It's enough, Yunj. Lin Jianan was filled with regret. This 50 million was enough for him to live a carefree life. When Grandma comes back, I hope you'll disappear on your own accord. Do you understand? Bei Yunj took out a 50 yuan note and stuffed it into his chest pocket. She patted it lightly and her bright eyes curved. Otherwise, I'll chop off one of your fingers every time you and your wife come. How about that? Lin Jianan was scared out of his wits. I understand. Do you have enough money? Bei Yunj asked with concern. Yes. It's enough. Lin Jianan limped away with 50 yuan, which wasn't even enough for the taxi fare. After dealing with them, Bei Yunj finally remembered Ji Qing. Mr. Ji, why are you looking for me? Miss Pei, do you know him? After Ji Qing finished speaking, Ah Hui, who was beside him, blurted out, Impossible. Poor they. How could Bei Yunj know her? Bei Yunj was not angry. Instead, he glanced at Ai Hui and smiled. He's right. It's my fault for not teaching him well. Hearing Ji Qing's words, Ai Hui knew that he would be punished when he returned. If Mr. Ji really has something to say, you can ask Elder Zhong. There's nothing in this world that can't be done. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, she prepared to leave. Ai Hui could not help but say, That's easy for you to say. Ai Hui, go back and receive your punishment. You don't need to follow me for the rest of the month. Ji Qing glanced at him coldly and then caught up with Bei Yunj. Does Miss Pei know about high-tech murder? I don't know. I've seen a futuristic sci-fi movie before. There was a computer expert who could eavesdrop on other people's conversations through the fluctuations in a glass of water in a room. What do you think, Miss Pei? Actually, imagination itself is an existence that has yet to come. Bei Yunj said slowly. Then, Miss Pei, do you think you can do it? Ji Qing stared at her. Bei Yunj stopped in her tracks and looked at him with a half-smile. I won't participate in any disputes. Chapter 332. Ai Hui pursed his lips, glanced at Ji Qing, and shut his mouth quietly. He glanced at Bei Yunj with disdain. What a joke! She was just a high school student who knew nothing, yet she wanted to meddle in other people's affairs? In the past year and a half, I've taken on a case related to a criminal gang both at home and abroad. Their main source of income is human trafficking and some illegal supplies. Ji Qing told Bei Yunj everything without hesitation. Bei Yunj didn't say anything. He didn't know if she was listening, but Ji Qing continued to speak. Every time we sent a new spy, he would be found within 3 months. His corpse would be chopped up, packed in a box, and thrown in the square. Ji Qing's tone was indifferent, but he clenched his fists. The first spy was my best friend. After he was discovered, his wife and son were also taken away. From the video that they deliberately sent, I saw that he was tied up in an abandoned field and watched helplessly as his wife was humiliated and his son was thrown into a pulverizer. Bei Yunj glanced at him and wiped her hands. After a long time, she said, So, you guys are very capable. She wasn't someone who would take it as her duty to save others. Some people's feelings for their country could be used to conquer mountains and seas. As for her, she was deeply involved in a mountain of daggers and a sea of flames. In her previous life, when Bei Yunj was young, her antisocial personality attracted the attention of the older generation. Therefore, they told Mother Pei to teach Bei Yunj well. Otherwise, not only would their family not produce a genius, but they might also produce a time bomb. After all, Bei Yunj's talent was very shocking since she was young. The Pei and Meng families couldn't commit such a sin. Hearing Bei Yunj's praise, Ji Qing laughed happily. Let me send Miss Pei back. It's hard to get a taxi here. Ji Qing added, Miss Pei, you don't have to guard against me. I understand some things. Who didn't want to live a stable life and was willing to get involved in such a dangerous matter? Thank you. A trace of emotion flashed past Bei Yunj's eyes. She just smiled and gave Ji Qing an address. However, when Ji Qing heard this address, he subconsciously glanced at Bei Yunj. Isn't this where that person lives? Hua Shidu came back very early today, but he did not expect to see Bei Yunj. Mr. Hua, the young lady is at the door. A friend sent her here. When Auntie Miao saw Bei Yunj and Ji Qing at the door, she walked in silently and said casually. The man's eyes darkened. He thought that it was one of Bei Yunj's friends from school. But when he walked over to take a look, he didn't expect to see an old acquaintance. At the door, Ji Qing's gaze had been fixed on Bei Yunj. He lowered his head and spoke to the girl, his eyes filled with tenderness. As for the beautiful girl, She was as lively and unruly as ever. For some reason, it made people feel that it was somewhat of an eyesore. Hoshidu stood not far away. His gaze landed on them without avoiding them as he watched this scene lazily. This was the first time he saw the young master of the Ji family smile so gently at a girl. "Master Du, long time no see." Ji Qing wanted to greet Hoshidu, but in the next moment, he heard the man ask casually, "Didn't we just meet last night?" Ji Qing, why did he feel that the atmosphere was strange? "Where did Yunyun go? Why did you ask your elders to send you back?" Hoshidu turned around and looked at Bei Yunj. Ji Qing smiled again and said, "What kind of elder brother is he?" Chapter 333. With that said, Bei Yunj thought of the etiquette that Hoshidu attached great importance to and turned to look at Ji Qing. "Brother Iching, thank you for sending me back today." "You're welcome." This Brother Iching made Ji Qing's body stiffen before he smiled. On the other hand, the man who had been looking at Ji Qing had his usual lazy and cold gaze turned deep. "Then I'll go upstairs first. I'll treat you to a meal when I'm free." With that said, Bei Yunj went in. However, Hoshidu remembered that she had said the same thing when he met this child for the second time. Speaking of which, it was probably Ji Qing's second time meeting this child. "Master Du, does Yunj usually stay at your house?" Ji Qing was still looking at the living room, his tone casual. Hoshidu's fingertips flicked the silver lighter casually. His handsome and dignified eyes looked lazy and casual. "But she doesn't stay in the Qin family?" Ji Qing seemed to be overly concerned about Bei Yunj as he muttered to himself, "This little girl isn't like the rumors at all. Instead, she always makes people unable to take their eyes off her. Young Master Ji is very interested in Union?" Hoshidu looked up, his tone emotionless. Hearing this, Ji Qing was about to nod when he felt Hoshidu's cold gaze. Ji Qing was speechless. What was going on? Within moments, Ji Qing laughed involuntarily. "Master Du, what are you worried about?" "Ji Qing, you're not young anymore," Hoshidu said slowly. Ji Qing understood what Hoshidu meant. He forgot to clarify and said seriously, "Let's see, I'm only 5 or 6 years older than Yunj. Is the age difference big?" "So, you like Yunyun?" Hoshidu's eyes gradually darkened. "Master Du, don't look like you want to kill me." Ji Qing pressed between his eyebrows. "Yunj will get married sooner or later. Master Du, why are you so jealous?" Hearing this, Hoshidu's fingers stopped moving. "What did you say?" "I said, sooner or later, Yunj." Before Ji Qing could finish speaking, he suddenly realized something. "Master Du, could it be that he liked this girl?" "Are you?" A thought flashed through Ji Qing's mind when he saw the man frowning slightly. A playful look flashed past his eyes. "Master Du, I'm actually not that bad, am I? I'm good-looking and good-tempered, and I've never had a girlfriend. I don't have any bad habits. Moreover, if the Qin family and the Ji family can unite through marriage, the Qin family won't lose out." Ji Qing. Hoshidu looked at him. An unknown emotion spread out, and there was an indescribable danger in his eyes. For the first time in more than 20 years, Hoshidu, who had always been calm and at ease, disliked someone so much. This was also the first time he had the desire to fight. When Ji Qing saw this, he was also stunned for a moment before he smiled and said, "Master Du, do you want to see how scary you look now?" He walked closer to Hoshidu and his smile deepened. "This is the first time I've seen you like this, Master Du, it's quite rare." Hoshidu restrained the dangerous look in his eyes. He also felt that his reaction was too unreasonable. Not long after, Hoshidu roughly understood why. Because of the little girl who had just entered. And all his unreasonable emotions at this moment came from his possessiveness. The little girl that Master Du likes doesn't look ordinary either. But if Master Du doesn't chase after her, I want to try too. Chapter 334. I won't send you off. Take care, young Master Ji. The man's gaze was indifferent, but there was an inexplicable aggressiveness in his eyes that exuded a sense of oppression. Ji Yiqing ignored the man's expression and continued to ask with a smile, "So fast? Can't we chat more?" As soon as he finished speaking, before Huashidu could speak, he heard a voice upstairs. "Ji Yiqing." Huashidu frowned without batting an eyelid. Seeing this, the smile on Ji Yiqing's lips deepened. "Master Du, look, I can't leave yet." These words sounded different in the man's ears. It was as if Ji Yiqing was deliberately provoking him. At this moment, Bei Yunj walked down and said directly, "Can you leave your contact details?" "Okay, I'll be waiting for your orders, Miss Pei." Ji Yiqing smiled gently, but his gaze was discreetly sizing up the neglected man beside him. Bei Yunj's eyes moved. "You can look for me if you need anything." With that, she turned and went upstairs. Seeing Bei Yunj leave, Ji Yiqing laughed again. Before he could speak, he heard Huashidu say coldly, "Ji Yiqing, don't cause trouble for yourself." "Master Du, Miss Pei is an adult and doesn't have a boyfriend." Ji Yiqing felt that Huashidu could drag him out and beat him up at any time. "So what?" Huashidu sneered. "I don't mind waiting for Miss Pei for another 2 years," Ji Yiqing insisted fearlessly. But as soon as he finished speaking, the atmosphere suddenly became silent. After a long while, just when Ji Yiqing thought that Huashidu would ignore him, he saw him light a cigarette and his tone was calm and fearless. "Who dares to touch my child in Yuncheng?" Bei Yunj found Mrs. Ning's information. However, when she saw the photo of Mrs. Ning's son, she was surprised to find that this was the person who had caused a ruckus at her birthday party because of Qin Yojiao. Bei Yunj's lips curled up slightly, but the temperature in her eyes turned colder. So that was the case. Bei Yunj restrained the light in her eyes and slowly searched for information about this young Master Ning. When it was time for dinner, Bei Yunj went downstairs. "Miss Pei, the gentleman who sent you here today is also very handsome." Auntie Miao smiled happily. "He's a friend. Brother knows him too." Bei Yunj glanced at Huashidu and remembered that she had not spoken to Huashidu much today. For a while, Bei Yunj couldn't find a topic to talk about. Suddenly, Bei Yunj asked casually, "Brother, how did you know Ji Yiqing?" Upon hearing that Bei Yunj's first sentence today was to ask about Ji Yiqing, Huashidu's gaze deepened. A family friend. On the surface, he still spoke casually. Bei Yunj forced herself to continue the conversation. "He's not bad." "Is that so?" Huashidu raised his eyebrows and his gaze landed on Bei Yunj. He asked casually, "Does Yun like this?" "He's all right. He's quite tactful." Bei Yunj changed the topic and changed the description. "Gentle." However, she did not notice that the eyes of the man sitting beside her had darkened. Huashidu stared straight at Bei Yunj in front of him. He thought of how this young lady had gone overboard last night and her attitude towards Ji Yiqing today. He subconsciously licked the tip of his itchy teeth and chuckled softly. "I couldn't tell that Yun likes so many types." At this moment, Bei Yunj could sense the danger in the man's tone. Chapter 335. "Brother, what's wrong with you today?" Bei Yunj felt that something was wrong with Huashidu. "It's nothing. I'm thinking about something." Huashidu's gaze swept past Bei Yunj. The young lady's liking was indeed like a gust of wind. It disappeared after it blew. She had secretly kissed him last night, but today she felt that Ji Yiqing was gentle. "I see." Bei Yunj nodded in understanding. Coincidentally, someone had sent her a message. She glanced at it. It was Du Xiao asking her to consider the International Musicians Association. Bei Yunj replied without thinking, "Sure." At this moment, Du Xiao, who was still waiting in the hotel in the city center, had his eyes light up. This trip to Yuncheng was indeed not in vain. The next morning, the International Musicians Association posted a public announcement online. To celebrate, the International Musicians Association welcomed the first musician from country A. The International Musicians Association would decide to open up 2 more spots to country A. The moment this news was released, the entire internet went viral. Hashtag the first member of the International Musicians Association in country A hashtag made the headlines. "What immortal? Am I dreaming?" The first member of the International Musicians Association from country A? Don't you think that the name of the first member from country A looks a little familiar? Why? F***CK, isn't this Manran's composer? A big shot who suddenly appeared. So, how did Manran get the big shot to compose for her? How can a pop singer's composer be considered a serious musician? The person above is really ignorant. Do you know how many famous overseas musicians have taken Yun's score? Soon, because Yun made the headlines, Manran's song also received dividends and continued to dominate the music app. After that, everyone also realized that because of the sudden recruitment of the International Musicians Association, many people went to listen to Yun's song. In the end, all of them became fans. They even took first place on the foreign music charts. It received great praise. And this sudden good luck was thrown directly at Manran. Naturally, a large number of singers were jealous. They all wanted to use their connections to dig out some information about Yun. But after digging around, they realized that other than writing songs for Manran, this Yun did not have any other connections. In the piano room, Qin Yojiao was halfway through her piano practice when someone called her. Her hand paused as she realized who the caller might be. She stood up quietly and answered the call. She stood by the window and asked, "Why are you calling me at this time? If you don't call now, I'm afraid Miss Qin will forget who got you the invitation to the Nearly 18 debutante ball." Qin Yojiao clenched her fists and said with a smile, "How can that be? Yojiao, I know very well in my heart why I want to help you, don't I?" That person also laughed. "I know that you're targeting the Qin family. But my mother is also Mrs. Qin." Qin Yojiao clenched her fists as a struggle appeared in her eyes. Everyone in the Qin family treated her badly, but Mrs. Qin treated her as her biological daughter. If she really helped this person, how disappointed would Mrs. Qin be in her? Are you sure that blood relations are really not important? The more upper-class a family is, the more they value the purity of their bloodline. That person smiled. For example, in our family, the son of a mistress is only an illegitimate son no matter how capable he is. It's impossible for him to inherit the family business. Yojiao, I have plenty of ways to make you the one and only eldest young miss of the Qin family. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly recommendation ticket. Chapter 336. These words made Qin Yojiao's heart skip a beat. Could he really make Bei Yunj leave the Qin family? Your three brothers will only dote on you like before. Yojiao, don't you want that? Qin Yojiao bit her lip as hatred flashed past her eyes. She wanted to. If it wasn't for Bei Yunj, she wouldn't have been chased out like a stray dog. Yojiao, and we can become very good friends. That person guided her patiently. How about this? I'll give you a membership spot in the International Musicians Association as my first gift to you. How about that? Qin Yojiao froze. She already knew that this person had a noble status and was not someone the Qin family could compare to. However, she never thought that this person would be able to get her a spot in both the Nearly 18 debutante ball and the International Musicians Association. Can I really do that? Qin Yojiao asked tentatively. That person laughed, his voice as pleasant as a silver bell as he asked casually, "Why not?" Hengda. Bei Yunj glanced at the message Du Xiao had sent. "Yunj, how about you be the chief examiner for Country A's recruitment this time?" Bei Yunj's eyebrows twitched and she rejected him directly. "I'm not free." Soon, Du Xiao immediately persuaded her. "Yunj, you've just arrived. I have to give you some authority. This recruitment review isn't troublesome. Other than you, there are 2 other members who will assist you. They won't make you too tired. If you come and help, we don't have to pay the membership fees in the future, okay?" When he sent the last sentence, Du Xiao felt that Manran was cheating him. It was just a membership fee of 10 to 20,000 yuan. Why would Bei Yunj care? But very quickly, Du Xiao saw that person's reply. Sure. Du Xiao was speechless. As a big boss, didn't she need at least some face? Class 1-inch, what's going on today? Qin Yojiao seems to have been in the piano room and hasn't come out much. I heard it's for the International Musicians Association, someone said. Hearing this, many people in the class were confused. International Musicians Association? What's that? Soon, someone explained, only a handful of well-known musicians can enter the International Musicians Association. What's the use of being a musician? Isn't he just playing piano for others? Hearing this, the girl next to him said disdainfully. However, soon, some people rolled their eyes. He sneered. Ignorant. The most important benefit of the International Musicians Association is to gather connections. As a member of the International Musicians Association, do you know how many big shots from various countries you can get to know? Moreover, for these big shots, the International Musicians Association is also an important network of connections. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. Hearing this explanation, everyone suddenly understood why so many people in the country were so excited when the first member of Country A appeared. Moreover, because of that member's participation this time, the International Musicians Association had also given 2 additional slots. It was as if Country A was being loved on account of the same thing. Then wouldn't the composer of You Man Ran be overjoyed? Someone asked enviously. The International Musicians Association started to say last month that they wanted to recruit a new member, but it was only today that they officially announced that it was Yuan. The internet speculates that the International Musicians Association may have dug for more than a month before they managed to find her. With that said, everyone seemed to understand why the International Musicians Association was so happy that they were so happy to give 2 additional slots to Country A. It turned out that they had gone through a lot of trouble to poach her. Then Qin Yojiao is too lucky. If she gets this opportunity, won't she be the youngest member of the International Musicians Association? Chapter 337. You think too highly of Qin Yojiao. Is it so easy to enter the International Musicians Association? Someone could not help laughing. All the works of the International Musicians Association are left in the textbooks. What works can she have? Didn't Yuan get in too? The boy in the class who liked Qin Yojiao could not help retorting. How can she compare to a... Before the 2 of them could start arguing, someone beside them said softly, My friend in our nation said that their Ministry of Education is indeed buying Yun's copyright. It was just that they had not agreed to sell it yet. Hearing this, everyone could not help but fall silent. Our nation was buying the copyright of their country's song? This was really a series of events in their lifetime. No wonder the International Musicians Association was so anxious to poach her. I really want to know who Yuan is. It's like she appeared out of thin air. Do you remember that in the past, Yu Man Ran was at most a B-list celebrity? Once he collaborated with Yuan, he immediately became a popular A-list celebrity. There's a reason for this. Some people started their piano tour at the age of 18 and didn't cause much trouble. These words happened to be heard by Qin Yojiao, who had just walked in. The gloominess in her eyes disappeared. She clenched her fists tightly, her nails digging into her flesh. It was that Yuan again. Suddenly, Qin Yojiao remembered what Yu Man Ran had told her last time. That person was about her age. If Yu Man Ran wasn't lying to her, wouldn't she become a joke when Yuan appeared in front of everyone one day? At this thought, Qin Yojiao's face paled and her body trembled slightly. She would never allow this to happen. Qin Yojiao pushed open the door and walked to her seat with a cold expression. The girl who had mocked Qin Yojiao behind her back was so frightened that her face paled and she didn't dare to say anything. The entire classroom was silent and awkward. Qin Yojiao sat in her seat and sent a message to that person. Help me get Yun's new score and I'll do anything for you, okay? When she typed this message, Qin Yojiao's hands were trembling. She didn't want to do such a thing, but she didn't want to become a laughingstock either. It's not difficult, but why do you want her score? Qin Yojiao gritted her teeth and sent another message. I want to destroy her. Only in this way could she continue to be a proud girl in everyone's eyes, a young pianist. Okay, then remember what you promised me. Seeing this message, Qin Yojiao heaved a sigh of relief, but unconsciously, a thin layer of sweat covered her forehead. Qin Corporation. President Qin, this bouquet of black roses is here again, Secretary Qian said cautiously. As expected. When Qin Luyan heard that, a cold glint flashed across his eyes. The low pressure around him made it hard for him to breathe. However, this flower delivery woman was like a lunatic. She would send a bouquet of black roses every day. Regardless of whether she rejected it or not, there would always be a bouquet of black roses at the front desk the next day. Throw it away. Qin Luyan suppressed the hostility in his eyes. His eyes were still arrogant and handsome. This woman was still as disgusting as she had been in her previous life. President Qin, do we really not need to investigate? Is there a need to investigate a lunatic? Qin Luyan's tone was cold, but the veins on the back of his hand were popping out. In his previous life, it was because of this woman that the Qin family was ruined. This time, no matter what, he would make her pay the price. During this period of time, the Qin Corporation had expanded crazily and was already very eye-catching. Even the woman far away in our country had noticed it. P.S. Today, chapters 9 to 12. Remember to vote every month. Chapter 338. How could she not tell that Qin Luyan was already on guard against her? However, as long as Qin Yojiao could be used by her, she would always have a trump card. In the Ning family. Do you mean that the Qin family's daughter who went back really came to look for you? Mrs. Ning snorted. I really didn't expect Lin Lanjun to raise such a filial child. That's right. Yesterday afternoon, my brothers and I wanted to kidnap Bei Yunj, but we didn't expect. That person's expression was ugly. Thinking of what happened yesterday, he was traumatized. She didn't even leave Lin Jianan any face and stepped on him. Just thinking about that scene made his scalp turn numb. Hearing this, Madame Ning's action of picking up the Persian cat stopped. Then she walked towards the sofa and sneered. How ruthless! However, Lin Lanjun is still in my hands now, so she can't cause any trouble. Madam, she should come to look for you in the next 2 days. Mrs. Ning's tone was sarcastic and contemptuous. She's not coming to look for me. She's coming to beg me. She was waiting for Lin Lanjun's granddaughter to come to her door and beg her. Then she would let Lin Lanjun see with her own eyes how she tortured Bei Yunj. At noon, Bei Yunj received the information from Si Qingyan. You want me to do such a thing for you? What a sin. Take a look. Is it complete? Bei Yunj smirked. After receiving the information, she quickly replied to Si Qingyan. Thank you. I'll help you look at the project on Friday. Then, Bei Yunj flipped through the information about the Ning family. The playfulness on her lips deepened, but the smile did not reach her eyes. After a while, she edited a copy of the information and sent it to Yu Manran. Then she sent a message slowly. Do you have time to help me? This piece of information needs some exposure. In less than a minute. Man, arrange it. Mwah. Until the afternoon. The news about the Ning family had completely entered everyone's field of vision. Regardless of whether it was the fact that the Ning family had close contact with the retired senior officials in order to gain a foothold in the country, or the fact that the only young master of the Ning family had taken drugs outside 2 years ago and was left unsettled in the end, it had caused a huge sensation. The Ning family is really a big melon. My friend is young Master Ning's classmate. In the past, in order to pursue a girl, he pushed her boyfriend down from the 2nd floor and broke his leg. In the end, nothing happened. It's really not strange that he would do such a thing. F***CK, the Ning family is relying on their wealth to raise their son like the crown prince? Why didn't he think about it? Would it be his son's turn to be the crown prince of Yun City? Let me tell you something. A few days ago, something happened to Director Lin. Looking at the time, it happened to be when the Ning family went public. A worker died in an accident. The news was suppressed just like that. Smile. What kind of juicy news is that? I'd like to ask, has anyone here eaten melons from Madam Ning and Dean Lin? Back then, Ning Tai liked Director Lin's husband and used all kinds of methods, but in the end he just didn't like her, so that's how it is. No wonder Academy head Lin has been criticized recently. My father used to be a student of the Lin Academy. He said that the photo of the adulterer in bed is indeed true, but the matter is very complicated. Back then, Academy head Lin's husband liked Madam Ning and looked down on Academy head Lin's family background, so he refused to let Academy head Lin marry into the family. In the end, Academy head Lin's husband came and stole the household register. He took Academy head Lin to get the marriage certificate and even hid it from everyone. Madam Ning claimed to be his fiancée and caught her fiancé stealing the forbidden fruit. In the end, he drove the car. Damn, the hidden marriages of that era are really exciting, Doghead. Chapter 339. My mom told me about this yesterday. Dr. Lin's husband seems to have been pursuing Dr. Lin since high school. It wasn't easy for Dr. Lin to agree. How could she listen to her family's arrangement? Moreover, Dr. Lin was young, beautiful, and talented back then. She was very popular. If you don't put in some effort to get a marriage certificate first, she will be abducted, Doghead. Yes, I remember that in her second year of teaching, Dr. Lin won an international prize in biology. Her in-laws were so shocked that they didn't dare to continue to show their displeasure. Or is Dr. Lin too low-key that people look down on her? Ha ha ha, is this reflected in reality? Boo-hoo, I knew it. Dr. Lin is so good. It's impossible for her to do such a thing. So, some of the positive comments about Dr. Lin were liked by several old professors of Yunqing University, which was equivalent to confirming that this matter was true. Suddenly, those who had said negative things about Dr. Lin seemed to have disappeared without a trace. At this moment, Mrs. Ning, who had been called by countless people to express their sympathy, only knew that such a thing had actually happened on the internet. She fell into a state of anxiety, and her expression was ugly. How could this be? Mrs. Ning gritted her teeth and stared at the reports on the internet, as well as the clarification about Dr. Lin. Suddenly, she felt as if there was a mouthful of blood stuck in her throat. How could such a thing happen? Lin Lanjun should be the one who was despised by everyone. How could it be her? Just as Mrs. Ning felt cold all over and fell to the ground with a hollow gaze, a pair of black leather shoes suddenly appeared in front of her. Looking up, she saw slender white legs, a simple cut paper school skirt, and an unbelievably beautiful face. At this moment, the eyes looked at her with a faint smile. She squatted leisurely and looked at her playfully. Mrs. Ning, it's the first time we met. My name is Bei Yunj. Mrs. Ning lost her composure and took a step back. It's you. You must have done it. Gradually, Mrs. Ning's expression became fierce. The corners of Pei Yunj's lips curled up as she threw another USB flash drive to her. Post the statement inside online today. What is this? To clarify, Dr. Lin. Bei Yunj curled her lips and said in a casual tone, full of arrogance. Don't even think about it. Mrs. Ning's eyes widened and she wanted to throw the USB flash drive out again. But in the next moment, Bei Yunj threw a stack of photos in front of her. She smiled condescendingly. Madam Ning, think about it carefully. Are you going to send it, or am I? At this moment, Mrs. Ning lowered her head and saw her son intertwined with a man or a woman in the photo. The scene almost made Madam Ning faint. This is fake. You lied to me. Madam Ning's eyes were bloodshot. Whether it's fake or not, won't we know once we let everyone take a look? Bei Yunj smirked, and her clear voice was full of coldness. Last time, young Master Ning came to my birthday party to make trouble. This time, we can settle old and new debts together. No. No way. Madam Ning became agitated. She immediately pulled on Bei Yunj's sleeve and shook her head frantically. Don't send it out. I am willing to clarify. Miss Pei, please spare me. Okay? Lin Jianan and Bei Yunj, who were waiting at the door, saw how Madam Ning lost her composure and knelt in front of Bei Yunj. This was the real devil. Dr. Lin was weak. She didn't expect to see Bei Yunj in the basement. Chapter 340. Why are you here? Director Lin's pupils constricted, thinking that Mrs. Ning had kidnapped her. Leave quickly, don't worry about me. Bei Yunj saw that Director Lin was drenched and the basement was cold. She knew that Mrs. Ning had done this on purpose. A trace of coldness flashed past her eyes and she covered Director Lin with the thin blanket she had brought and helped her up. Her voice was gentle. Grandma, I'll take you home. As soon as the Ning family's matter was exposed, someone started to investigate. Apart from the things that had been exposed recently, the Ning family had also participated in many shocking and absurd transactions. As a result, the Ning Corporation had completely collapsed. During this period of time, Qin Yojiao was also focused on practicing the piano. She wanted to enter the International Musicians Association in one go and let the Qin family discover her value again. Yojiao, I brought you something to drink. Cheng Zihuai took the milk tea and placed it beside Qin Yojiao's table. Thank you. After Qin Yojiao took it, she only took a sip and left it untouched. She said with a smile, You're first in this monthly exam again. I heard from my teacher that you might be the top scholar in the city next year. Cheng Zihuai smiled. Compared to being the top scholar in the city next year, I hope that I can win the Domestic Computing Award this year. I believe in you, Zihuai. In the future, you'll go to the computing department of Yun University and I'll go to the music department of Yun University. At this point, Qin Yojiao deliberately smiled at Cheng Zihuai. I wonder what university Yunj will want to study in. Can she get into university with how she looks? Cheng Zihuai's tone was mocking. I also heard that Yunj signed up for this physics competition and participated with us. Maybe she's studying hard. Hearing Qin Yojiao say this, the ridicule in Cheng Zihuai's eyes deepened. Yojiao, people who work hard are not like this. People like Bei Yunj just want to be noticed. But in the end, she only made a fool of herself. She's different from us. She can only roll in the mud. Hearing Cheng Zihuai say this, Qin Yojiao's hand on the piano relaxed. She was also afraid that the Cheng family would favor Bei Yunj more because of what happened at the birthday party last time. Fortunately, since Cheng Zihuai hated Bei Yunj so much, Bei Yunj had no right to fight with her. But that's good too. When the results of this competition are out, it's time to let your brothers see who's the real Qin family member. A dark look flashed across Qin Yojiao's eyes when she heard Cheng Zihuai's words. She smiled and said, Zihuai, let me show you my original song from the International Musicians Association. Sure. Early morning. Bei Yunj saw the news from Tich and Jasmine. The two of them had won the gold and silver medals of the Shunga International Computing Competition, so he was in a good mood. Although the Shunga International Computer Competition was not as prestigious as the Busaka Award in the computer industry, it was still quite valuable. The fact that Jasmine and Tich could win such an award at such a young age showed their potential. When she went downstairs, Bei Yunj suddenly thought of something and opened a group chat for the first time. This group chat was actually a chat software created by Marcus. It was filled with members of the Computing Institute and our nation's Computing Institute. So, everyone in the group chat received a large wave of red packets. Red packet, congratulations. Red packet, congratulations. Red packet, congratulations. Everyone was speechless. Chapter 341. He was out? What was going on? Without hesitation, those who were fast had already gone to receive the red packets. Because Marcus did not set the amount when he made the software back then, everyone was so scared that their legs almost turned to jelly when they saw that the red packets they received were all in the thousands. He had sent more than 10 red packets, and each red packet was worth hundreds of thousands. Wasn't he too King generous? So, in the hearts of the two members of the Big Boss Computing Institute, they could not help but add a suffix. God of Fortune. Soon, Marcus came out. Marcus, God of Fortune, what's wrong with you? It's nothing. I'm just happy that a student won an award. Marcus, who saw the message, was speechless. Just now, Tich and Jasmine had been crying and complaining to him that their teacher was too strict. After receiving the award, their teacher had only replied with a, yes, I understand, in a cold and elegant manner, as if it was something very normal. In the end, she was a fanatic behind his back. Unfortunately, as interns, Titch and Jasmine could not enter the group chat yet. Marcus resisted the urge to take a screenshot and send it to Titch and the rest. From the corner of his eye, he realized that there were too many red packets and they had not been collected. So in the next moment, his fingers slipped and he snatched the red packets together. He completely forgot about Titch and Jasmine, who were still immersed in grief. Bae Yunj went downstairs and was about to go out before she had breakfast. Yun have breakfast first. Hwashidu had a feeling that this little girl had been a little busy recently. Even at home, she was nowhere to be seen. Brother, I have something on. The moment Bae Yunj finished speaking, another voice suddenly sounded from the door. Yunj, are you ready to leave? Bae Yunj turned around and saw that it was Ji Yiqing. Why was he here? Bae Yunj furrowed her eyebrows. Elder Zhong asked me to pick you up, Ji Yiqing said with a smile. Hearing this, Bae Yunj understood. Uncle Zhang, who often picked her up recently, had something on, so he asked Elder Zhong to arrange for someone to pick her up. However, she did not expect Elder Zhong to ask Ji Yiqing to come over. I have to eat breakfast first. Bae Yunj looked at Hwashidu and thought for a while before speaking again. That's just nice. I haven't eaten with Master Du for a long time. At this moment, Ji Yiqing looked like someone who couldn't read other people's expressions. Although Bae Yunj knew that Hwashidu and Ji Yiqing were old acquaintances, she could feel that Hwashidu didn't seem to want to see Ji Yiqing that much. But since she was here, there was no reason for Ji Yiqing to wait outside. Brother, do you think? Bae Yunj looked at Hwashidu. Suddenly, Hwashidu laughed and reached out to pinch the back of her neck affectionately. His tone was light as he said, Yun, go and eat first. Brother Yiqing is old and his waist is not very good. I'll get Aunt Miao to prepare some food for him to nourish his body. Ji Yiqing. He had injured his waist during a mission. What nonsense was Hwashidu spouting? However, the next moment, Bae Yunj looked at him with more respect and pity. Then I'd better take a taxi. It's not good for my waist to drive for too long. Ji Yiqing's handsome face darkened. It's okay. I'll arrange a chauffeur for you later. The man's lazy and magnetic laughter sounded. Ji Yiqing put on a fake smile. The injury from the previous mission has already healed. Master Du, you don't have to worry so much. Is that so? I saw that the Ji family arranged a blind date for you. I thought that you were old and your waist couldn't recover, so I was preparing earlier. Chapter 342. Hwashidu's words made Ji Yiqing's reputation even worse. It was as if Ji Yiqing was trying to save face and refused to admit it. Bae Yunj's expression was clear and she did not say much. Ji Yiqing put on a fake smile. In the past 2 years, the Hua family seems to have been busy with the selection of a young madam. Hwashidu's posture was light and lazy. He slowly poured a glass of milk for Bae Yunj and looked at Ji Yiqing with a faint smile. Yes, young Master Ji, think about it. Why is that? For a moment, Ji Yiqing still did not understand what Hwashidu meant. After that, until Bae Yunj finished breakfast and was about to leave with Ji Yiqing. Brother, did I leave my rubber band in your room? The rubber band that Bae Yunj had been using these few days was new, but it had disappeared within 2 days. However, when Ji Yiqing heard this, he looked at Hwashidu in surprise. He did not expect the two of them to be so close. Okay, come and get it yourself. Hwashidu was holding a document in his hand. Actually, he could have gotten the rubber band for Bae Yunj, but Bae Yunj did not think too much about it. She walked over and reached into the man's suit pants pocket. However, after searching for a while, Bae Yunj changed to another one, but she could not find the rubber band. At this moment, the handsome and noble man stood there leisurely, allowing the girl to lower her head and touch his waist intimately. He was very indulgent. It looked ambiguous and intimate. However, Ji Yiqing saw the man's gaze fixed on him with a faint smile. Ji Yiqing was speechless. He wanted to scold him. What should he do? Yun, why are you touching him? Young Master Ji is still here. The man's magnetic voice deliberately dragged out the last syllable. It was light and ostentatious, making people blush and their hearts race. Ji Yiqing resisted the urge to scold him. Bei Yunji's eyes also moved slightly, not knowing what to say. Then, before Pei Yunji could walk away, the man suddenly chuckled softly. His magnetic voice was slightly filled with a bewitching ambiguity. "I'll get it for you." He took out a black rubber band from his suit pocket and slowly tied the girl's hair in front of Ji Yiqing. "After you're done, Yun, come back early. I have something important to tell you." After getting out of the car, Ji Yiqing also completely understood why He Shidu wanted him to think about the reason why the He family no longer looked for young madam. Because now He Shidu's family was raising one. What happened? Bei Yunji glanced at her wristwatch and confirmed that there was still time. Because the requirements for interns in Country R's Computing Institute were very strict, the system was different from the Computing Institute. The interns in the Computing Institute could vote and choose the instructor to give public lectures. Bei Yunji, on the other hand, became the most ideal mentor for the interns because of the huge patent fees and Marcus's high regard for her. Today, Bei Yunji was preparing to give these interns a public lecture. That was why she came over so early. "It's fine." Ji Yiqing took a deep breath and experienced the difficulty of matchmaking. He looked at Bei Yunji. "Do you come to the Computing Institute often?" When Bei Yunji heard this, her hand, which was about to take out her identity card, paused and she silently retracted it. "Occasionally." Bei Yunji put the identity card back into her pocket and stopped at the entrance to register before entering with Ji Yiqing. The security guard was puzzled. Why didn't Miss Pei use her pass today? Chapter 343. After entering the Computing Institute, Zhong Shenglin warmly pulled Yiqing down and had a long talk with him. He used his eyes to signal Bei Yunji to leave quickly. Before Ji Yiqing could say anything, he turned around and realized that Bei Yunji was nowhere to be seen. "Inspector, where is Miss Pei?" "She might have gone to water the flowers for me." Children nowadays are very patient. They like to help the elderly. Zhong Shenglin laughed heartily. Ji Qing's eyelids twitched and he did not ask further. She specially came to the Computing Institute just to water the flowers? At this moment, Bei Yunji was indeed watering the flower buds of various countries. However, the flower buds that were being watered began to tremble. Everyone was happy and excited when they found out that the class was going to start today. They walked into the conference hall in high spirits. However, someone casually asked Tich what a typical teacher needed to prepare for class. Tich replied that he would be scolded. Everyone suddenly realized that this matter was not simple. If you think that the content is too simple, you can leave the conference hall. I don't want people to whisper to each other. Bei Yunji's clear voice did not have any warmth. Everyone had mixed feelings. The interns, who were considered outstanding newcomers, suddenly understood why Tich and Jasmine were so arrogant and frivolous when they first entered the Computing Institute. But now, they only knew how to hold a thermos and often stood by the window with a face full of vicissitudes. Right now, looking at the entire scene, it seemed that only Tich and Jasmine could keep up with Bei Yunji's rhythm. As for the others, they had already started to kneel. As for the discussion just now, some people were secretly asking Tich what the teacher was talking about. The class ended in a thrilling manner. Jasmine and Tich gulped down a few mouthfuls of hot tea and a piece of American ginseng to refresh themselves. They relaxed completely. Seeing this skillful unified action, everyone was shocked. They were indeed the first and second in the institute. They were too persevering. If they attended a few more classes, they would be able to ascend to the heavens. Therefore, from this class onwards, the interns in the institute developed a shadow over Bei Yunji. Tich, are you guys always like this in class? Tich's numb and empty eyes gradually woke up. He said amiably, "That's not it. Today's content is indeed simpler than before. Maybe it's because I don't want to make it difficult for you." The interns? Wasn't that difficult? Suddenly, everyone felt sorry for Tich and Jasmine. What kind of life were they living at the Calculation Institute? Some people could go out with their mentors to ride bicycles and drink to relax. Some people had to suck on a piece of American ginseng after class, as if they were hanging on by a thread. Why don't you all change teachers? He was very good. He was young and outstanding. But if he continued to follow, he would lose his life, right? It's okay, I can do it. I can prove to my teacher that I can. Titch waved his hand and focused on fighting Bei Yunj. Everyone, sure, this was a case of one willing to hit and two willing to suffer. After class, Bei Yunj's good mood in the morning was completely gone. It just so happened that Marcus called. How was class? Are you happy? Bei Yunj, Marcus continued to ramble on and on. Following you to class is indeed very effective. Titch and Jasmine have really improved too much. Look, they even won the Shunga International Prize. Just a minute ago, Bei Yunj had even checked the Shunga International Prize. After confirming that it wasn't some random prize, he was relieved. P.S. There are at least 5 or 6 more chapters. Sleep early. Good night. Chapter 344. After all, she had specially sent a red packet to the group in the morning. Next time, don't look for me for this kind of public class. What's wrong? You're the number 1 chosen by the institute. You're a popular top instructor. Bei Yunj said casually. Titch and Jasmine are enough. Hey, as you wish. Of course, Marcus would listen to Bei Yunj. Not long after hanging up the phone, Bei Yunj received a text message from Du Xiao. The registrar sent you a copy, but you don't have to worry about it. Just check the last 2 rounds. After all, more than 1,000 people had signed up this time. After the first round, only 200 people would be left. In the next few rounds, they would slowly filter them out. After Bei Yunj replied to Du Xiao, she saw Ji Qing in front of her. Hasn't that mission been going on for more than a year? Since it hasn't been settled yet, why are you still so free? Bei Yunj asked unhurriedly. The third comrade just went undercover into the gang's center yesterday. Ji Qing smiled and stared at her. I don't know why, but I feel safe with you. Bei Yunj said casually, call me if you need anything. It's the same. So, Miss Pei, you know him? Ji Qing looked at her with a smile. His intuition told him that Bei Yunj was related to him. But no one would think that an ignorant and incompetent high school student and the one who had a patent fee of 10 billion yuan could be the same person. Whether I know him or not, there won't be any change in your perception. Bei Yunj changed the topic and asked as if she had nothing to do. Do you know how the first and second comrade were discovered? Ji Qing shook his head helplessly. The first comrade just entered the inner circle and died on the 3rd day. The other comrade also died about half a month ago. Bei Yunj stopped in her tracks and turned to look at him. The third comrade also entered the inner circle? Yes, he just entered last night. Ji Qing nodded. Bei Yunj quickly thought of something. She looked up and said, ask him to come back immediately. Ji Qing was slightly stunned. But did you implant the spy with a monitoring chip? Bei Yunj's question surprised Ji Qing. If he doesn't come back soon, you can prepare the 4th spy. Bei Yunj looked at him with a faint smile, but there was no warmth in his eyes. But our chips can't possibly be discovered. Ji Qing frowned. After all, no one had discovered it for so many years. If there isn't a mole in the R&D department, then it must be the chip. Bei Yunj smiled lazily. There are already 2. Whether there will be a 3rd one or not is up to you to decide. Ji Qing had also said that the gang seemed to have technicians supporting them from behind. Every time they reached a critical moment, they would know what they were doing in advance. In that case, it was also very likely that the spy had been spied. Let him come back now. Ji Qing's eyes darkened as he clenched his fists. The 2 people in front, have you performed an autopsy? Bei Yunj asked. Yes, the chip is also intact. Ji Qing nodded. Bei Yunj's eyes darkened. Let's perform an autopsy on the second one. Those people wouldn't be at ease to let a person jump around in their nest for half a month after knowing that he was a spy. However, whether Ji Qing could find any traces of them depended on luck. In the evening, Bei Yunj also left the computing institute. Chapter 345. Ji Qing's eyes darkened. He thought for a while and finally made a call. Brother Ji, what's wrong? A Hui was monitoring the internal situation of the gang with his colleagues through the monitoring chip. Ask Abao to come back. A Hui was stunned. Why? Abao just went in. Ask him to come back quickly. Don't make me repeat the order a second time. Ji Qing's gaze was cold. Brother Ji, because of this case, you've been reprimanded by the higher-ups many times. We've already lost 2 brothers. If you ask Abao to come back now, won't you be a coward? Won't you be making a joke out of us? A Hui was unhappy, but he quickly thought of Bei Yunj. He could not help but say angrily, did Bei Yunj say that? Brother Ji, who is that woman? Why do you have to listen? Ji Qing's tone was cold. Give the order again and ask the spy to come back. Those who disobey will be kicked out of this mission. Instantly, A Hui fell silent. The female colleague who heard it immediately gave the spy an order. After settling this matter, Ji Qing called the forensic doctor again and said in a gentle tone, Hello, I'm Ji Qing. Can I trouble you to do the autopsy again? Bei Yunj sat in the car and used her iPad to draw a human body. Finally, her gaze landed on the head and teeth. She moved the tip of her pen slightly and drew a circle on the head as she muttered to herself. Is it here? After getting out of the car, Bei Yunj saw that there was no one in the living room and thought that she had come early, so she went upstairs to take a shower. However, she did not expect that just as she took off her clothes and was taking a shower in the bathroom, the man would push open the door and sit by the French window. The man with noble eyes was focused on the document in his hand. After a while, he noticed a faint movement. Someone was there? Huashidu frowned. The first person he thought of was Bei Yunj. Did this child forget that the bedroom had just been changed back yesterday? Just as Huashidu stood up and was about to walk over to take a look, he stopped in his tracks. He felt that it was better to leave the bedroom. But in the end, just as Huashidu turned around and was about to leave, a girl who was drenched all over and only had a white towel draped over her body as she dried her wet hair appeared. The towel was only casually draped over her body, partially covering the important parts of her body, but it made one's blood boil. In particular, the girl's figure was extremely good. Even her ankles made people feel sexy. For a moment, the two of them looked at each other. Bei Yunj's hand paused. She didn't scream, but her mind exploded. Huashidu was the first to react. He restrained the darkness in his eyes and quickly turned around. 1 or 2 seconds later, there was an almost imperceptible hoarseness and helplessness in the man's voice. Why aren't you going back to get dressed? He didn't expect that this young lady would dare to come out with only a towel. Bei Yunj calmly picked up the clothes and walked back. However, as soon as she returned to the bathroom, she realized that she had forgotten to take something very important. Bei Yunj, she glanced at the translucent top. Underneath it was a close-fitting spaghetti strap. She didn't think she could go next door like this. Brother. Bei Yunj gently pushed open the bathroom door and called out tentatively. Huashidu, who was about to close the bedroom door, paused. What's wrong? I forgot to take my clothes. Veins popped out on the back of Huashidu's hand that was holding the door handle. His Adam's apple bobbed as he suppressed those thoughts that he shouldn't have. What do you need? Chapter 346. Underwear. Bei Yunj's voice also stiffened. When Huashidu noticed it, he also found it funny. You want all of them? Brah. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, she silently closed the bathroom door. But then she realized that as long as she went out to get a clean towel, changed her clothes, and covered herself, it might not be as awkward as it was now. Bei Yunj, forget it, she had already said it. So, just as Bei Yunj was feeling relieved, she suddenly thought of the terrible scene of this man opening her closet and choosing a bra for her. She had really sinned. Bei Yunj suddenly felt a sense of guilt, as if she had touched the flower of a high mountain. But on second thought, she had also secretly kissed him. This sin seemed to have been committed a long time ago. So, just as Bei Yunj was letting her imagination run wild, there was a knock on the door. Yun Yun. Bei Yunj opened the door from the inside and saw the man's slender hand reaching in with a black bra. This sharp color difference was dazzling. It was also inexplicably lustful. When Bei Yunj took it, she turned to look and saw the man's handsome side profile. He was dressed in a neatly tailored suit, looking refined and cold. However, it formed a strong contrast with this lustful and ambiguous atmosphere. He was like a god who had been pulled down from his altar. Bei Yunj narrowed her eyes. After taking the important item, she felt that it was hot to the touch. Especially when the man picked up the shoulder strap just now. I'll go out first. Bei Yunj immediately changed her clothes. At this moment, Huoshidu, who had already closed the bedroom door, was no longer as lazy as usual. Just now, Huoshidu stood at the door and called Auntie Meow. He had wanted Auntie Meow to come and get it for Bei Yunj. After all, this was a little girl's personal clothing. As a man, he should not touch it. However, he did not expect that Auntie Meow had just been called over by the old madam to discuss cooking. In the end, he could only go and get it himself. After more than 10 minutes, Huoshidu did not see Bei Yunj come downstairs. Then, he received a message from her. Brother, if there's anything important, let's talk tomorrow. Huoshidu could not help but chuckle softly. His voice was filled with joy and was magnetic and pleasant to the ears. After that, he knocked on Bei Yunj's door and stood at the door with a casual smile. Brother has something to do, so he has to go back to the company. Yun Yun, hurry up and go downstairs to eat. Bei Yunj, are the communication tools invented by humans no longer useful? Did he have to come upstairs? 10 minutes later, Bei Yunj saw the voice message from Auntie Meow. She clicked on it without hesitation and heard Auntie Meow's hearty laughter. Miss, I'm so sorry. I forgot to take your measurements and make clothes for you. I didn't even know that your clothes are too small. Mr. Hu just called and asked me to bring someone to take your measurements. How about tomorrow afternoon? You're too small. His eyesight was really good. He could tell at a glance that it was small. Bei Yunj's beautiful eyes couldn't help but twitch, but her entire body froze. Was it too late to go out and strangle that dog of a man? The next day, back at Hingda. Master Pei, what's wrong? Why do you look like a little girl who has been bullied? Lu Yuanxi snatched her phone away and opened the maps of the gods. He said with fighting spirit, Come, let's experience the most realistic life and death friendship. Not interested. Bei Yunj did not snatch the phone away. Instead, she sat down and leaned on the table, preparing to sleep. She did not sleep yesterday. It was either because of nightmares or because she could not sleep. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.